welcome to the end of year Christmas spectacular episode of By the Numbers. You can see we've brought a few guests in to corral this. We've just been working everything out of our system before we've gone live. It could be the end of the year. It could be the end of the career episode. No one really knows.
Obviously, there's been a few live stream fails that have fucked people over, but usually it's always one person involved. This could be the first ever show that just kills like all 5 people's careers in one go.
Yeah. Well, then again, I've seen some of the things you can do on Twitch and get a 3-day ban lately. So as long as we're not doing that,
give us an example.
It's all right, I think. But the word omega lol can be used as a visual depiction. Anyway, as you can see, we've brought in a couple of ball frauds, which is HenryG. He used to be a commentator. Now he's the GM at Cloud9. He's paid $20 million for that team. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Nothing to do with the show. I know. He's done it anyway.
You thought you were here to help out a friend, Henry, but in actual fact, it's going to be non-stop wall-to-wall abuse. And speaking of wall-to-wall abuse, we've also got Jason Moses O'Toole, the victim of every green room from 2015 onwards.
And then he won in a semi-final or a final in NA in the last 4 months or something.
Yeah, also true.
Whatever. And
we were surprised when he left commentary to go and be a coach, incredibly honest. Who saw that coming, really? So, yeah, he is now the coach of Team Liquid. He's here. We're going to be talking a little bit about Team Liquid, I'm sure, at some point. Thorin's here all the time. But Anders decided, for reasons unbeknownst to me, to just put himself through this personal hell.
It also sort of shows you who he is in the industry, though, that he can also just like some drunken uncle at Christmas just wondering like, what's going on in here? I think I might join the party. It's not fucking like it requests me. It's supposed to be invite only. Why you just here? I think I might be on the show tonight.
You legit turned up today, Duncan. It's like, oh, Anders is actually here. And he's like, Richard, yeah, he just said he would be.
Talk about becoming the things you hear. Anders has just become D-man, inserting himself into podcasts. Doing the final, guys.
1 minute in. Got it.
Got him in.
That's when the bingo done.
Right, so D-Man, cross him off your bingo. Chewy's going to be coming up very soon.
So we've got D-Man, Anders getting fucked by ESL for a final, Chewy. Everything's in 2015 at the moment. Can we get to the last half a decade?
We'll get there. Well, look, why don't we start, right? I'll explain the premise of the show in case you're a Zoomer and you've never watched By the Numbers end of year special. It's not just abusing each other because we're all still mates.
It's mainly that.
But it is mainly that, yeah. But
it feels like that at the moment.
It will be that for a while, but we are going to segue into awards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And we do a series of awards where we sort of, acknowledge the good and the bad across the Counterstrike year. So we got a nice, easy one to open up. It's a little bit serious, so we'll take a sharp turn.
Here we go.
But at Player of the Year, we've got to award our By the Numbers Player of the Year. And realistically, I would say there's only 2 names that can be in contention, but it represents the great debate of our time. Simple or Zywoo. Statistically, by the way, if you go look at them for 2020, they are literally...
It's almost the same, isn't it?
Yeah. They're like completely identical. So I'm interested to see where it goes, especially given that Jason seems to have the magic coach's eye these days. So...
Wait,
it's like this. That's all it needs. That's all it needs.
I love my job. Right. Anyway,
there's a third option on this list that you haven't stated.
I agree.
Who's that?
That's Tag.
Oh, okay.
No one in the history of Counterstrike has gotten such a big contract.
Here we go.
Why is it on this? Why is it taking a pop of the champ for?
Why is it going to get attention on me, Henry? And you're just collateral damage. I got to get it off.
I can't believe you've done this.
I know.
I can't believe it.
It's
not even a shot across the bow. That's a full contact.
Come on, Moses. There's about 2 hours of this show left. Right, we can do one serious category, right, guys? Who was the best player in all of this game that we all dedicate our lives to? Well, I'd just like to say, fuck the guy that Henry signed. He was expensive, wasn't he? It's reasonable to come and straight out the game.
Didn't we just learn who's replacing Twist? Isn't that all that's happening here? He's like, he could be the best in the world. And he's on Liquid now, by the way.
Okay. Jason.
Suspicious.
He is the most expensive player. In
not true.
World Counter-Strike.
Not true. Objectively not true. Factually not true.
Salary?
Oh. No. You boys haven't done your homework then. A bit of a chink in the armor, it seems, here in the beyond.
Who gets more salary than Nefertari? I mean, you can't say a name, but they're like he gave us a ballpark. Is it what sort of team?
Players.
Astralis players get more? Holy, that doesn't seem right.
Nah,
I
don't think so.
He's not the highest paid Counterstrike player. He's not. But I don't know why we're talking about this.
Good meme.
I was just trying to make a good joke. I think Zywoo's the best player of the year.
All right, good. We're bringing it back.
Bring it right back.
So why Zywoo? Why Zywoo and not Simple?
I think I really have enjoyed, and this maybe is actually shit. This is the part of the show where you guys make fun of me for my logic behind it, because it's actually probably defending Simple more than anything. But I like the way that Vitality has progressed as a team, and I like the way that Zywoo fits into that. And I think he's gotten better at not just being a crazy fragger that gets unleashed every round, and he's actually now playing within a team framework, what I think is impressive, and he's putting up those numbers as well. And I think he's actually spectacular now at fitting within a team and also being able to break out of that team environment when he has to for the squad. And I think that's different parts of the game that he's just developed over the years. So I've just been really impressed with him in 2020.
Henry?
Oh, we're doing this now. You want my opinion?
Yeah. Your opinion.
He's already.
I mean, I just don't know why you just didn't sign Zywoo and Simple to Cloud9.
That's a good point. These are all players I should have got in hindsight. Like upon review of my team.
Nico as well,
Should have just got all of them together, made a brilliant team, and then been much happier than I am right now.
It would have been like the Beatles of Counterstrike. But
I would love to see, unironically, some of the fans in CS just get to be a GM, and then they just go like, right, first things first, let's get Device, and then Simple. It's like, well, are those players available? What do you mean? Just get them. Like, just contact them, tell them to come. Like, we'll pay them. Like, why did they think this game works? It's pretty hard,
Well, I would go for Zywoo as well. I feel like in terms of the way the teams perform, the way he seems to be kind of breaking the mold of being just an explosive, exciting player, it seems like he's really kind of evolving and maintaining the sheer level of talent as well. For me, like, they're so consistent. It's so exciting to watch, and it seems to be getting better and better. It's difficult to separate the two of them. They're obviously both enigmatic players, but yeah, it's got to be Zywoo for me. I feel like what Vitality have done as a whole and the way he's performed throughout that journey, it's looked sensational. So yeah, if there's your serious answer, I would go with Zywoo.
Anders?
Oh man, I actually think the best thing about Vitality this year is the fact that they've had to rely on Zywoo less than it looked like they were going to in the beginning. So that might be sort of a point to take away from picking Zywoo as the number one. But then, if you look at the results, I just don't know how much to attribute that just to Zywoo or the team overall, and the fact that they've actually had a sixth man and not just been teasing about it is also interesting. I don't know if that means he shares it with 5 other people instead of 4 other people, but. And I almost think it's the reverse when you look at Simple. Like, he seems to be the one really carrying Na'Vi through some of these games in the most ridiculous fashion of all time. So it's almost like one of those Forest versus Neo in 1.6, where you have to say, well, in light of who they're on the team with, not to say necessarily that all of the rest of Na'Vi aren't good or anything, but I just think it's real tricky. I probably would pick Zywoo as well, but I think it's a hard call to make just because of the lens you have to look at it through. So I don't know how to deal with that, honestly.
You got any ideas, Duncan, on how to break that up?
I would personally go for Simple. Like, the main problem I think this year is, like, obviously, even though there weren't as many tournaments as people think, there were some tournaments like the IEMs that were obviously split just into like CIS regions. So Simple didn't play in the European tournament all the time like Zywoo did, obviously. So that helped Zywoo's case because he was like similar stats against slightly better competition. And also the fact that we weren't online, it was all just online. So it's a lot of the games blur into one. I get why it's harder for people to do the decision this year, but I would put it this way. Last year, I gave it to Zywoo because even though the stats were basically the same again, just eye test, that was when like half the year Simple played with the Krieg and Na'Vi was like that weird team where they went from the Zeus lineup to the Boomich one and Blade was taken over. Like, just impact-wise, he didn't look as good. I think this year he's like far and away the best player in the entire game. I know it's a long year, so it's hard to remember all of it, but especially these last like 2.5 months have been unbelievable. Like, here's the difference. Yeah. I think Zywoo's doing an amazing job in Vitality, and is certainly one of the best players in the world. But here's the difference between the two for me, is people have brought this up recently, but you just look, when Vitality was in a final, and remember, a lot of those finals they lost, they were the favourite in, or when they're playing Astralis, Zywoo's still really good, but he's not always even the best player in the server. Simple in the last few months, and especially against Astralis, is like the best player, even if Astralis wins the game. Like, this guy's unreal right now. And I think at the moment, I don't think any player's ever had the impact he has right now in the game. Like, remember, that was what everyone spent the last 3 years saying, is like, well, you can't be as high, like, individually above the other players as the beginning of CSGO because the game's evolved and, you know, the basic understanding of the game is higher. But, like, how far ahead Simple can be of the second best player in the server in, like, a semi-final is unbelievable. That's... Like, he's doing that in 2020 is unreal to me. So I go with Simple. I don't mind people who pick Zero. I think you can make an argument there as well. I just think Simple has the most insane eye test I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Simple as well coming into this, but it's like it's super hard this year. I think it probably is the hardest it's ever been to distinguish between two players at the top end of the scene. Right? For me, I want to give it to Simple because I just feel like all of the sort of trials and tribulations that Na'Vi have been through, and all of the changes, I still think they've made a bunch of fuck ups over the course of the year. And when I look over at Vitality, it's been a pretty solid unit. They definitely play around Ziwu a lot more than Na'Vi plays around Simple. I think it's like Vitality has a tactical setup where they look to enable Ziwu. Simple is a guy that goes out and sort of takes the game for Na'Vi, or he doesn't. That's basically it. But like, he has to go out and make the plays, which isn't to say, like, I would say the best plays of 2020 have all come from Ziwu. Like, I've seen him do some fucking insane shit that even eclipses Simple's play. But I just feel like, you know, if you were to say Vitality don't enable Ziwu, I think you're being a little bit disingenuous. I know they had a big problem with that last year, where they were like, they didn't want to acknowledge that they were like, oh no, we enable Ziwu. We're not being carried. We're not a one-man team. It's like you still kind of are, but I mean, to be fair, like everyone's improved greatly over at that team, and the way they've brought in the 6-man and everything. Like Vitality have been a revelation, but yeah, I think I'd still go for Simple.
Like, I think, no joke, without exaggeration, Simple is almost playing like a hybrid between a fucking IGL and a star player now. Like, as you say, he has to just decide, like, right, this game's lost, so I have to just take control of it, go anywhere on the map that's necessary, and just do what must be done. Like, no one else in the game even has to do that. Everyone else is just allowed to just be a really good player on a good team. Like, I'm not even saying anything against Zero. I'm just saying what Simple's doing is unreal to me.
Yeah, and you can see as well, like, I mean, this might be something we'll bring up later on, but like, you know, when you look at what like Xtaz has done with Vitality compared to like what Blade has done, you know, when he went to Na'Vi, we were all like jerking off going, oh, this might be it, finally, the missing piece. Na'Vi still have all the same problems they've always had. And now it just takes them longer to fuck up around. That's basically the only discernible difference. Like, I mean, you know,
I can't lie.
Yeah, no, good. It's like, yeah. I mean, I think the fans know that's kind of like what's been brought to the table.
And it was already long.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they used to fuck up around, you know, with 40 seconds left on the clock. Now they do it with 4. Yeah. It's like brilliant, great stuff. Like, so listen, well, we're in a bit of a weird situation here because our 3 guests, Duncan, have gone for Zywu. And we've both gone for Simple. So
the problem is this. Here's the real issue: is like, you know, this is a host. Obviously, on this show, it's only me and you. But the order that you ask stuff in does influence what people say, right? And all I'm going to say is, of everyone in this room here, right, who would be the one that would be the most agreeable and would want to? It's Anders Bloom, right? So it's because he'd already heard the other 2 fucking NA rejects here, just going, "Oh, I fucking love Ziwu." Like, yeah, he was just
great to be here. Great to be here.
Even though he tried his hardest to go, like, I was going to say Simple, but I guess I would also say Ziwu and be one of the crowd, liked and admired by my parents. Like if I'd gone first, I would have won Anders over. It's a swing state that I could have won if I'd have gone harder, basically. So,
you know what's real fucked? I'm reading the Twitch chat, and they're all saying Anders as you're asking the questions. So fuck you guys in the chat too. I would have said Ziwu all along.
Tell
them. Fair enough. It's 3-2, isn't it?
Now, well, so we have to give it to Ziwu. We've been overruled. So that's what happens. That's why we brought Anders in. Anders is the fucking decider.
He's the Dominion fucking voting software.
Yeah. That's the problem with him. You got Sam back here. Sam hasn't had a vote.
Yeah, who do you vote for, Sam?
I'd vote for Simple. Just to fuck up the
score even more. A little bit of chaos.
Wow.
Imagine that. The guy's paying his bills.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen.
Where's the vice president? Cast the final vote.
Here's the difference. If you brought Ziwu out to Port Albert, right, and you were like, "Oh, Ziwu, come along here, son. This is what we call a pub." And here is a drink. Drink it. It's not water, no. I know it tastes delicious like Gatorade or whatever you drink, but it's actually alcohol. Oh, it's great. If you showed him the ropes, he'd be a fucking life of the party. But Simple came along Port Albert. He'd just rock up like Wagwan, man. Just start grabbing WKDs. What I'm saying is he's a man's man. He takes what he wants in this life. See, we're just waiting to be invaded.
That is true. That is true. I've seen Simple on a night out. So, Wagwan indeed.
Wins the Port Albert test. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Right. Let's do Team of the Year. Let's move on. Loads of awards to get through.
If you took to Port Albert, would do the pedal.
I know. So,
right. Cloud9 or Liquid? Take your vote. Who's it going to be?
So, obviously, I would say, again, there's like two real calls for this. So to correct me if I'm wrong, I would say it's between Vitality or Astralis.
Yes, they're the obvious ones.
Yeah. And now, don't get me wrong, Cloud9 actually. Interesting statistic.
All right.
When Henry took over,
come on,
they were ranked 253rd in the world. I think it was.
Yeah.
And now they're up to like 30th or something.
I know, that's so
23rd. So why does it always have to be worse? 23rd.
Wise.
23rd.
All right, 23rd. All right.
Highest performing team in the year.
That's like that. They've gone up like. Right, I've
definitely
never seen
gained
the
the
team.
most ranks. I like that.
Exactly. So I think you're in with the shout here, Henry.
Mate,
all right, good.
Everyone wants shit on Henry, but what he's effectively done there is what D-Man does on stream. You take a team in like Division 3 and you take them all the way to the Champions League, don't you? There you go. He's done it already. 230 or something to 23. He's moved up 200 spots.
And he took $20 million as well. That's the magic.
The midnight.
That's more money than everyone else involved.
I was just going to say, he also used a fucking money cheat, so it doesn't really count, does it?
Money ball is when someone just gives you a giant ball of money and you just do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Henry watched that movie and didn't understand. It's like, so wait.
So right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Basically, it's not my money, so I can just spend whatever I want. Not my hashtag, not my money. But anyway, so Astralis or Vitality. We'll get back to Cloud9.
Yeah, good.
Plenty of time.
Should have once or twice in the episode, you know.
Yeah. So, like, who are we going for here? So the interesting data points, I suppose, are Vitality were way ahead of Astralis at the start of the year. Astralis had that weird funk they were in where they were like people took breaks, they were swapping people in and out, 7-man roster, etc., etc. They fell outside of the top 5 quite comfortably. I think they were down to like 11th at one point in the year. And then, obviously, at the end of the year, Astralis are going to finish the year as the #1 team in the world on HLTV rankings. That's going to be like the 4th time they've achieved that in 6 years, which is a hell of an
accomplishment. But the first time they've ever achieved it with the person who owns HLTV.org having a minor stake in Astralis.
Indeed, yeah. Which is
there's a new record to break. Listen, guys, Danish press, if you're out there, I'm here to help you make the great stories that you need. So let's talk about how great Astralis is.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I'm really torn on this as well. Like, I don't know who to give it to. It's like I want to acknowledge Vitality and everything they've done, but I mean, the fact that Astralis have battled back to be winning tournaments by the end of the year is pretty outrageous as well. So I can be swayed either way.
Let's make Anders go first on this.
Yeah, all right then. Well, but I wonder what Anders is gonna say.
Michigan Blue.
Well, so yeah, I'm gonna say Vitality. I think they.
Oh dear.
I mean, partly I'm going to count it against the fact that Astralis, as you said, they did have that part of the middle of the year where they had people in and out. So what version of Astralis are we even talking about for winning the #1? I think the progress that Vitality have made has been really, really impressive, and the fact that they've done it with a 6-man lineup to me is like that actually means that they've done something brand new that no one's ever done before. And if you don't get credit for doing that, I don't know what world you're living in. So also, I mean, I've seen the results speak for themselves in terms of I think finishing I think winning a couple of tournaments, obviously, towards the end here as well. But I think even outside of that, it was like finishing 2nd or 3rd or something in everything else that they played in. They did, I think, an amazing job. And I mean, again, if you just look at the results, that's maybe one thing. But I really like the fact that the team isn't just a Saiwu support team anymore. Like, there's very clearly way more going on there. I think the story of Apex as an actual leader, all of a sudden, something that I probably would not have predicted if someone had asked me like 3 years ago, do you think Apex could become a reasonable in-game leader? I would have said no, probably not. And I mean, just to not give him all of the credit, it's really, really clear that the supporting staff in that organization, in terms of the the reviewing that they do of games and like their approach to it, is really solid right now. So I just think I actually think, in my mind, it's not. I agree; those probably are the 2 picks. I think it's not super close for me between Astralis and Vitality. So,
okay,
I'm going to go with them.
Who wants to go next? Because you get accused of lying otherwise. Right, this is the best slot.
Well, why
to
don't we
take.
do the double bluff and let the liar go next? Go on, Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tag. No, I'm not even paying him the most. No.
I'm just gonna say I don't even make a big statement or anything. Everything I was gonna say, I think Anders like copied me there. I don't know. I was gonna say all that stuff. That was what I was going with. Like I think he must have saw my homework or something. I totally agree. I think Vitality have hands down been like the trailblazers and how to make the 6-man roster work. If you're talking about them versus Astralis, there's one team that hasn't fulfilled on that promise and said they were going to explore that idea. You've got a team that's actually done it and proven it to be a workable system that's actually had great results, and it's got a lot of logic behind it as well. And I think they've done great with the tools they've had. They haven't had to make a load of roster changes. Brought one extra player in. It's looked great. I think it's been exciting to watch, and I think they're the team of the year for sure. So there's me locking it in. Vitality.
I mean, also as well, the fact that, Astralis had your fucking eyes out with the Tag deal.
Okay, can't just get one in, can I? Can't just slip one past the keeper. Can't just get one past the keeper.
No, got to retake it, Henry. Got to retake. Anyway,
well, to be fair, my in-game leader's from Vitality, and then my rifle is from Astralis. So if you're talking about the pedigree I'm bringing in, you're only backing it up, Richard. To be fair,
Yeah,
so
true. Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
It's good.
All right.
really-
he's got one there.
okay.
That's a point for Greer.
yeah,
Put that on the
really
board.
fun.
Point for
definitely,
Greer.
Nice. I
That's
like
a
that.
nutmeg. Well done.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. So your argument
Here
is
we
that
go.
by
Here we go.
signing players,
Wouldn't be that
Final
easy.
boss.
the two
Final
best
boss
teams
has
in the
stepped
Here
up.
we go.
do not need. You have shown the quality of the players you've signed. You've signed their rejects. They don't need those players. They're still the best in the world.
Are you having a laugh? Signed the rejects, the in-game leader they desperately need, and I've signed their highest performing
Need
player of
them
their EPL victory.
Don't
He
need
only
them.
played 36 matches. I think Richard has got it down. Is that right, Richard? 36.
Like that, yeah.
Let me just check the numbers.
Yeah.
I'll check the lyrics of the song that I wrote. Yep, 36 times. Yeah.
36 matches, highest performer. I saw something special in the kid, and yeah, here we are. Why are we talking about my team again? Can we just not? Can we move on?
Yeah. Anyway, I think the fact that Vitality was able to move past the Alex guy that wasn't that good apparently, just so easily and just with ease, Apex took up being an IGL. The Extaz guy, he's one of the few bald people on this show who actually delivers every time. So fair enough. Actually, Rich is on the show every week, so that makes it sound like I'm just blasting Mitch. I was trying to blast
It's all right, my hair's grown back, boys.
You got caught in the collateral damage.
I'm
bosses
not.
there.
No, it's fine. I'm not being put in with the baldies anymore. I renounce my bald heritage.
You have to understand, like the way you get Moses is it's not precision shooting with the time. You just fire a fucking airstrike at the building that he's in, and then you just trust that everyone died. Like, fair enough. Cool. It's kind of like the US. I'm taking
Jesus fucking Christ.
like the top
All right.
neutralized. It's like, dude, he's in a school. It's like, well, still neutralized, isn't he? Like a motherfucker. So I guess they can all count how many dead people there are now. Right. So my point is this. Vitality started out the year always making top 4 finals. The problem was, though, they never won until the end. So I actually think that the storyline is sick for this year as well, which is not only were they like on paper the best team, like they felt like the most consistent team overall, but the fact that they won the last few tournaments and did it with this 6-man lineup, because they only brought that in a few months back. I think that shows how impressive like that team structure is and the people behind the team. It can't just be Ziwu shooting people with the AWP. Like he was doing that earlier this year. Yeah. So to me, the fact that I don't think they have the best player overall, although it's certainly debatable, but they, like for me, over the whole year, they're far and away the best team. I know Astralis has got the championship, which is pretty cool. One of those came with the other player, though, with their tag. So, like, I think for me, it's Vitality. I think just generally, look at everything, like the map pool. There was one point in time they were like the best fucking team on Vertigo. They used the 6-man lineup in a way that was legit. Not only that, the map that they were using on Dust 2 was even kind of genius the way they used it. Like, that's the hardest map to be consistent on anyway. So why not throw the wrinkle in there? And it won them tons of games. So I think just all in all, very impressive. The only knock against them is not enough trophies, but it's not like many other people won the trophies and had the consistency either.
Yeah, I think it's so hard because I think it's like a really cool story that Astralis were able to kind of get back to the top by the end of the year. Because like I've got nothing against the players, it's like I see them having to work essentially against the organization in a lot of ways. These like ridiculous roster moves they've made. Look, I'll say it. It'll all come tumbling out next year anyway. There was clearly
Eventually
some
they'll tell the
dispute.
truth for sure.
Yeah, there was some dispute over money or something going on, contracts, maybe people wanting to leave the teams. Like, it's no secret, like to say that, there were people on that Astralis roster that were being offered out to other orgs and stuff like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think for them to sort of get back to, they did it as well, not betting in any of the new players. So they brought back the old lineup, and the old lineup finishes the year by winning tournaments. I think that's like an amazing story. It's pretty cool considering everything. But I think just on the basis of the French scene was like fucking barren for talent. It was like so bad that like motherfuckers like XMS and Devil were still fucking trucking and being like, you know, touted as like being half decent players when of course the reality is they are absolute dog shit. And you know what they've done at Vitality.
It's just this very team of the year, mate. Nothing like that.
No, but
It's
I mean like
team of the year.
I'm talking about like Masuta and Nibara are coming through, and like suddenly,
poor Devil hasn't played like a professional game in like 2 fucking years.
I don't care, mate. That's like saying,
away.
mate. That's like saying, I won't use that as an example, but you know, like, mate, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's still fucking scary. You know what I mean? Like, I had to watch Devil when he played. You know what I mean? It don't change nothing that he stopped playing. There's still a record of him having played, and it's awful. So, so you know,
that's his crime.
That exactly. It's like I say, being Devil.
By the way,
being Devil is his crime. Being Devil is his punishment.
Since no one else is going to do it, I want to just take credit that it was me personally who made Astralis actually get good again. Because if everyone remembers, I had the best timing ever for one of my classic jinxes, where I did a tweet where I was like, "So is everyone just going to ignore that they haven't even made a bloody final in like 5 months?" Instantly made the final the next tournament, won it, and have won 2 other titles since then. So I'm just taking all the credit for that. It wasn't until I tried to, because my move always is to sneak in at the end to get the dig in, but when I went for the dig, it's like they blocked it, like Matrix style, and then Shrek'd everyone. So it didn't work out that well for me.
So yeah, I'll probably go with Vitality as well. Long story short, Anders, anything to add?
I mean, they fucking made Shox enjoy Counterstrike again. Like, what more do you want? He was happy. I haven't seen him happy playing Counterstrike for a long time. You know, cherry on top.
Somebody sold their soul to get Shox back onto like the best team in the world. Good for him there.
It's probably
enjoy Red Bulls again.
It's probably Shox, yeah.
All right, so that's the team of the year. Now we get into the interesting ones.
Question.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You told me before I came in. You said to me, "This is a Christmas special. Wear your Christmas jumper." Yeah. Now I don't see any motherfuckers right now wearing any sort of Christmas apparel.
Well, I was gonna wear mine, right? But I've got
go on
because
Moses is wearing that one of like a little leprechaun. That's like a symbol of his people. That's his ethnic lineage.
Irish,
there you go.
Yeah,
he's not drunk on alcohol or anything. So he hasn't completed the
fair enough. You're right.
He might want to be by the end of the show. I don't know what's in that mug. I can't.
But the reason I'd ask was I knew for a fact that no one else would, and it was just a bait just to catch me out. And so I turned up, looked like a twat, wearing the Christmas jumper. Oh, look at Henry. Yeah, it was that. Yeah, it was because you're not wearing one. It was an hour ago. You said
I was sweating cobs. I was sweating cobs.
I live in Malta.
What does that mean?
It's hot all the time.
I don't even know why is Anders turned into like macho?
That's not Christmas. I think we've missed it what Christmas is.
Why is he about to cut the shittest wrestling promo of the year?
That's what I could do.
Why do you have that next to your desk?
That's not important, Jason. But I thought I had something Christmas show. It wasn't Christmas, but I take the time to find it. So
close.
So anyway, if there's a break, I'll show you the jumper I was going to wear. It was
I want you to wear it.
It's a night before Christmas, mate. It's too hot. My
put the air conditioning on.
Roasting, mate. It's ridiculous. Like I'd be dead. I'd just die. That's not how we're ending the year.
All right, Merry Christmas,
not
everyone.
This time,
Cheers.
Henry. Right, worst event of 2020.
Here we go.
Now, obviously, we've all got mad different perspectives because you know we've all been to different events. We're all pigeonholed off now. We've all made choices.
The atmosphere during the playoffs of Katowice was shit. I thought that crowd really let us down.
So, you know, we've got, I mean, and obviously there's barely been any live in-person events. Anyway.
I think it's difficult to say that.
Because it has to be an online event, surely. Just the fact that everything's online. Like, what can we even pick out?
Yeah, like the problem we've had with online events is that the lack of resources to really do anything with the show. It's just like if we get through a show and it's acceptable, that seems to be enough these days. And normally I would say it's not, but given the circumstances, you have to say fair enough for this.
Like, was there even one that stood out as bad this year? I can't even think of one.
Not really. Like,
Well, honestly, the last 6
They
months have all
all-
blurred into the same for me. So
Yeah, and then I think at the start they all seemed awful because everyone was dealing with like COVID as it popped up. So like every event had its own like dumpster fire somewhere to go along the way.
I mean, obviously, there's one we're leaving dangling because I don't know if Duncan's in the clear yet to talk about it.
Okay.
But obviously, there was the Flashpoint. I know you guys must have been
Oh,
mega
I see what you mean.
disappointed. Yeah, without Flashpoint 2 ended.
I will say,
I know Anders is like, oh, don't make me do it.
She just trapped in a room for a week after the event ended is not a good sign. Like that should be like full negative marks against the event. Yeah, but that technically isn't the event, is it? That's just a fucking
I was gonna say for me,
extenuating circumstances.
it's between either like isolation in a hotel room for a week, or the part where I got strip searched in LA for 10 hours in a row. That like
that 10-hour day was really
Wait, what?
That was
you got
exciting.
strip searched for 10 hours.
Well, maybe not all of it, but
You really have lost a lot of weight, Anders. 'cause
Listen,
if it takes 10 hours to strip search you, homie.
Yeah, what was it like with the strip
You know
search
what I mean?
among us, like asking for locations of where you are right now? I'm on his tips right now. Fucking hell, I'm on the other one. I can't see you. It's like,
Yeah, no, exactly.
that was
It's like-
real wild.
So wait, you got to tell me about this, dude.
he must have
Well-
the most luck with Flashpoint ever, apparently.
I know. Well, so the people when I was traveling to LA for Flashpoint 1 didn't believe I had the correct documentation. Turns out that at the end of the 10 hours, they didn't know what the documentation needed was either. So then they just said, well, whatever. But yeah, for all that time, I was locked up, couldn't call anyone. I just got off the phone. I just texted my wife, I'll call you in 10 minutes. 10 hours later, I had 100 texts. They took my phone. Richard, they took my belt and my shoelaces and everything.
they took the lace out of your hoodie.
They took the lace out of my hoodie.
Yep.
And they went all in on that shit. It was
Had that
wild.
happen to me in Germany, mate. Like some mad fucking Stasi throwback. It was. They were like asking me mental questions, like, "Why have you got recording equipment?" And I'm going, "Because I'm a journalist. I record things." "What do you record, eh?" "Well, actually, video games. It's really boring and stupid. Video games, more like technology, computers. Yeah, you a hacker, right?" They were asking me all these like, mad fucking questions, like,
Leading questions.
I just told them, I said, like, "You're fucking daft cunts, man." I was like, "Listen, you do." This is obviously back in the day before Brexit. I'm like, we are in the European Union with each other.
Yeah.
The idea I'm a fucking spy, for your country against your country is mental. But yeah, they kept me in. I was in there for about 6 hours, just trying to get to a fucking Gamescom or something.
So I'll tell you what, like I did just try and just have the time, pass however you can, just watching mindless American TV in like there was like 3 other people there throughout the whole 10-hour stretch.
You had TV while you were in the like solitary confinement or whatever the fuck it was called, like the cell that you're in.
Yeah, they had like
Yeah,
a
take
TV.
a
Assuming
shoot.
it wasn't a cell. Also, it was like in probably
No,
a
was like a
lounge area.
It was like a common area, but like
Okay.
but they were guards and shit and all the rest of it. But anyway, like so I was just trying to pass the time. But one time when he came to get me, there was some woman who was arguing with the the customs people or whatever, and she was screaming at them. And I just thought like maybe I could lighten the mood with this guy he was just the assigned offer to my case. So I thought maybe I could make this a little friendly. Maybe I could like come up with some banter or something, and he'll think more of like. So I just asked him as you were. I said, "Does yelling at you guys ever work?" And he just said, "No."
All right.
And he just he just slapped that down.
Yeah, I hit that. Oh shit! No, and you're like, "Oh, you little bitch!" Oh shit! No, he knows our secret. No, the way he said that there, when he started saying like, I thought maybe I could win him over. I was just imagining like some alternate version of when like Rorschach's in that prison with like that psychologist, like just looking into the darkness of man, just listening to Anders Bloom talk about fucking cryptocurrency for 4 hours. At the end, he's like, "I don't know what I'm trying to do with my life." Yeah, it's like just lost his whole meaning of life.
Exactly.
So what about you, Henry? Did you do any events in 2020?
No,
Well,
but I
beginning of the
still
year
got
you did,
nominated
didn't
for Commentator of the Year 2020 somehow.
Did you
That was
Pizza, though?
pretty good achievement.
You did that one, right?
Did what? Sorry.
Pizza?
Yes, did do that one. I think in the grand final was Jason, Anders, Alex, and I. We took turns on maps,
And
right? That
Dean.
was like the last.
Oh yeah.
He was in there just for no reason for
I think that was the only thing I can really recall being an event in 2020. That's the last time we ever saw each other. I think that was
By the
it.
way, I actually would, no joke, even if it ruined the whole show, just for the comedic element, I would like it if we did have a factor like wrestling, where now for any final, randomly before a map, it's like, Because that D-Man's music. And then he just, at any point, he's just airdropped into the arena and just starts casting the game.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, we need way more aggression.
Flashpoint 3 looking to be off the chain.
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, like you're right. I guess it's a tough one because I mean, like the worst events kind of been all of them.
Yeah,
good category to put in the show.
Yeah, because online Counterstrike is shit. So
yeah, good stuff. Best event then next.
Yeah, it is actually.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Was there a good event?
Surely the best event has to just be kind of because it was a tier 1 line, and even though it didn't have the crowd. Yeah, Blast
had the best commentators for sure.
So yeah, awesome. I like that bit where they had that weird strike before the. That was good. I like that. Doing something a bit different, yeah. You know. My God, it's the CSPPA's music.
Worst event of the year, where it's like, right, well, we're online, so all we have to do now is just watch the game. We'll now be having a staged protest against players having comms. Like, how long is this going to last? Like 3 hours. Meanwhile, I'm just Twitter. I'm just watching Chris J just fucking. Right, the stupidest shit ever. Then goes in the server, gets blown out his arsehole completely. Like, this is a good 3 hours, wasn't it? Fucking hell. If I want to see a Dutchman humiliated by thousands on the internet, there's enough videos of that already, Chris. I don't need them. You know, your people have done great work in that sense. So there's a fucking bald fraud, speaking of one.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
Well, don't worry. We've got the Ball Fraud of the Year award coming up. So.
Shit the bed in their job and should probably be fired. But enough about that. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Chris J also. Yeah, true.
So, I mean, is there an event that stands out for the year?
Lock it in.
Yeah, Katowice is good. Navi had that nice run. That was fun watching Navi actually win the event.
This is how kind I am this year. I didn't even tweet. Still on my drafts. Might still go with it later, depending on the responses. I'm going to use it as a focus group right now. I didn't even tweet because how mean it would be. The obvious joke that I had this year, which was Carmack saying, I just want Katowice to, for once, be considered the better LAN event than Cologne. And then it said, cursed monkey paw finger rolls.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
You wish, homie. You got your wish.
I mean... You've won the award, Carmack. You've won the award.
You win. Yeah. Katowice was the best event this year.
All right.
And was it worst ever year in Counter-Strike history? You know, so...
Clip that.
You put it together.
Best newcomer to the scene.
It's a very general question. I mean, like,
can be anything.
Anything.
I've got
anything. Literally anything.
I would say Nivira. I think. Does that make sense? I think
a bit of recency bias, but okay.
Yeah, but we did just pick them as the best team of the year, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was trying to not read too much into it. When you saw him on Dust 2, you think, all right, that's cool. That's one map, whatever. Like it's one game, one map. Who really cares? But he just consistently did that, like on Dust 2 over and over again.
Oh, yeah, he's mega.
And he just seems to be playing, I think, an intelligent game. So I think, off the top of my head, he'd probably be my pick.
To me, one of the obvious ones has to be Man2 from OG. Like, he barely played like the previous year. He basically was just this year. And I know it was all online, but I thought like I was fucking way better than he should have been as a nobody.
Yeah, I mean, like, he really stood out. He's been like one of the better players on that roster. Obviously from the UK as well, so me and Henry biased. You know.
Wait, just so Jason doesn't have to say himself, Grim could be the other, like another obvious.
Thanks, bro.
I know this motherfucker.
I mean, what I love about this is the idea that Jason even had a say in it.
Only cost me $20.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I don't buy that. That was all made before Jason was even there.
If you can pay me next RP, Jason, that'd be great. I appreciate it.
But yeah,
nobody buying that shit. There's plenty of that around.
But what about, are there any newcomers like from a broadcast talent perspective? Any newcasters or whatever?
I was actually going to say one that I really, really enjoyed. I don't like, again, I guess this might be closer to an honorable mention, but I really liked Haka. I know he's been around for a while doing YouTube content, but when I saw him on the Flashpoint broadcast, I was actually really intrigued to listen to him cast and listen to him on the analyst desk. And I thought he did actually a really, really good job at Flashpoint too. So I actually think he could be a pretty talented commentator as well if he sticks with it and has more time. And obviously he's going to be good on the desk as well, considering the kind of content he makes on YouTube. So I really, really liked Haka a lot.
Speaking of talent, I actually thought this like young Danish guy who just came in the scene recently, he used to be a pro called Pimp. I think once he gets his accent down, like, look, guys, it's not just going to be like that for 5 years. Once he gets the accent down, you guys are going to love this guy. It's going to be so fucking... What's that? Sorry? Shit, he's been doing this for 3 years. Well, fuck me.
Bloody hell.
No way, he's laughing.
I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to handle that one.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm
Listen.
fine with that. Don't even worry about it.
Well, sorry,
I
Jacob.
provide my own laugh track. You have to understand that.
Look, Henry's just got his hands over his mouth. Like,
Can I
don't.
Can I
Go
just
close
just listen? In the context of this, one of the best descriptions I've ever heard is this is from E-League days, basically saying, Richard, this is what you said about Duncan, that basically he's a guy with split personality, where all of the other personalities are just hype men for the main one.
There you go.
yeah,
True.
It's true. Yeah. And all cunts as well, of course. All of them. Cunts to a man as well. Like.
Exactly.
So wait, we're not just talking players here. We're
Yeah, we
nominating-
can do broadcast.
Literally
talent,
anything
you know.
is the award, apparently. Literally anything. So
I
take it
mean,
how you will.
if we're going to be, I think the first really big event Maui did would have been Flashpoint 1, right?
He did
I
episode
think-
of the last year, but that was
Yeah.
only one event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flashpoint
But this
1
is-
was the big one this year, I think.
This is basically his year, so if we're going outside of players, I'd probably nominate him as well. From the non-player pool, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think you guys have covered it for me. I might throw in something for the Brazilians so we can generate some Corralhos and
Who's this going to be?
Well,
Jesus.
Leo Drunky or Leo Diak.
okay.
Good shout. He's great. I like him.
Yeah, there
I
we
think,
go.
yeah. Signing him, Henry.
Yeah,
20
yeah, I'll
20
take
mil?
him. I'll take him, mate. How much?
It's not your money. May as well just spend it, mate. It's not your money.
Might as well. Not going to spend itself, is it? mate?
No, on a serious note, I think he's been really good. That
Yeah.
Leo DRK kid, and like after everything that MIBR went through, where like halfway through the year they were at absolute fucking rock bottom, and then they announced, "Hey guys, we're going to throw together a team of a bunch of randoms you've never fucking heard of," and obviously VSM, who's banned from majors. It just looked like this was like the worst idea ever, and actually that team was one of the better ones, I would say, like towards the end of the year. It was like in terms of where it was placed, obviously not like a top 5 team or even a top 10 team, but it was knocking on the door when they'd been losing to like the 70th teams in the world, down where the Cloud9s of this world are. And
It's an obvious joke, by the way, about the fact that like MIBR took the smart move of realizing you don't need Fallen to win, only fucking idiot. No, the obvious jokes right themselves,
Yeah. But yeah, I'll give him a shout out because he seemed to be the better player towards the end of the year. So I don't know if anyone else has any other potential decisions.
There must be someone else for this. Is there anyone we've missed?
Bimas, I would give a shout. I do an honourable mention, maybe.
That's
Yeah, I
a
think
good
he's been very good. I've been very impressed with his form recently. I think he's looked great.
But I don't want to do that though.
Definition, are we, with that one?
Why? He signed for what? Phase in 2020?
Was it? I don't actually remember.
No, Jason, you're the one making the claims here, my friend. You could have your.
Give me a second then.
I think he was only on this year.
What about
Not done your homework, Jason?
He hasn't been calling me out. Hasn't even looked into it.
No, I was. That was an inquiry. That wasn't an attack.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
you take
come
everything
the
so
fuck on.
personally.
He just said taking the newcomer definition a little bit strangely there, Henry.
Yeah, I said with this one, I didn't even say your name. I didn't even say your name. You're just very sensitive.
Oh my god, the backtracking is unbelievable. All right.
It's what he has to do when Daddy Elise takes the belt off, though. So he's used to it now. I've told you, Jason, we're not doing that, Strat. No.
Am I going to get dogpiled if I mention Yakindar in this context as someone who's like not necessarily the firepower I think of some of the rest of the guys we've been mentioning, but I actually think he's got like a cool a personality to go with it, which is something that a lot of players are missing. So I really appreciate that.
Well, I thought if we're gonna get into the whole CIS thing, then you probably got to talk about Shiro, right? I mean.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
He's probably a standout, instrumental in that 19 series undefeated run Gambit had until was it Astralis beat them? I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, like they're like he's going to be sick next year in 2021 for sure.
Can I ask Henry, why do you have a calculator on your desk?
It's always been business, mate. Big deal.
Mate,
it is just a prop, isn't it?
Big money deals, right? You don't know about the money we're spending.
It's
not even
just there, like,
the money fired out of this calculator every day is unbelievable.
How much money I've lost Jack today? Let's have a look. Oh,
yeah, millions.
Exactly.
There you go, Jack. $20 million a day, mate. Hemorrhaging cash. Not even my money. Who gives a fuck? Bosh.
I see you've got the aesthetic of Richard Lewis, Andy. He's going for the books you don't read behind you, just collecting them forever.
Yeah, another bald fraud.
Dude,
Why
it
do you think
took
they're
us
blurred?
less than an hour to attack each other, to descend into madness. It's like Lord of the Flies up in here. Everyone throwing accusations at each other.
Jason, you opened up.
Let's
You
get
opened it
on
up.
to the next topic.
First question.
Yeah, okay. All right. Next question.
Everyone reel it in.
Sneakiest
Oh, God.
cunt.
Hell yeah, let's reel it in with
Here we
sneaky.
go. Yeah. This will
Speaking
settle
of
things
which-
down. This will settle things
Give
down.
this one to the D-Man Memorial Award.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you read
The
comments?
obviously a rat award
Yeah.
is in association with
So,
D-Man.
Richard, you presumably came up with these awards. Could you define what you commented the sneakiest cunt award to be? Where are we going?
Well, I can't remember who we gave it to
when
last year.
D-Man, it started when D-Man, as a joke, we put him in because
Yeah.
he put him on all those finals, didn't he, in like 2016 or whatever it was. So the premise was that's why we invented the category, because it's like, it was originally just like biggest surprise move or something, but we called it sneakiest cunt because it was just all the shit D-Man did. So
is it quite light-hearted things like that? There's not too bad, or things that are.
The obvious one this year would be something like some of the shit Astralis has done, or something, you know, like some like semi-shady move would probably be the funniest.
It's Nickel and Niall for me.
Can we just give it to collectively all the coaches who cheated and all the players who watched the streams?
Not bad. That's an easy one.
good
Easy
show.
cop out. No one has to get hurt. We can just
all those
blank it.
fuckers? Yeah.
Just say that's it. Give it to the coaches. Those cheating coaches, and just leave it there.
All right, well, not all of them. Calm down, there, Henry.
In a way,
Not all of them.
we can
Not all
also
of them,
give
but
it a
most-
specific
All
one.
of them. Just all of them.
Like as
Well,
a specific
there's another
coach.
wave yet to come,
on.
Jason. I've got my eye on you, son.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The pressure's been on you so much, you're going to turn to the dark side. You're just going to be there. You're going to upload a YouTube video crying. When they started calling me a bald fraud, they just broke me. I'm so
I did-
sorry to the scene.
Oh no! I did tell that story to Richard. I came out of a loss to a match. This is for Twitch chat, and I had like 20 tweets aimed directly at me, calling me a bold fraud, having me like Photoshop. And I was like, holy shit! That is so much more aggressive on this side.
Yeah.
And I
You never
eventually
got
was just
called a
like,
bald fraud when you were a commentator, did you?
I was like, there's way too many people in on this bold fraud thing, and I looked it up and realized it was.
In fairness, Richard, he was called much worse things, but mostly by the people in this call.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. Like, but yeah, I think
ROF for life.
I think like
Everyone fine.
the cheats are definitely a good shout, but for me, I've got to say,
Context clip is that?
Cheats are
Definitely a
Wait.
good shot for kids out there
Wasn't
looking at it. What?
but I think for me, I'll still go with Nickel and Nyholm because he kept coming back to the same well
Exactly.
over and
Yeah,
over
he's
and
reinventing
over
himself.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like he's done so much crazy shit. I mean, it's almost like it should be a joint award between him and that Casper shit guy or whatever he's called. Because like that guy's unreal. That guy did a interview in like I don't know on Danish news responding to that report on Astralis I did where he was like saying, yeah, well, I don't think Richard Lewis has any sources or even knows what he's talking about. Like, you're in my fucking garden, you daft cunt. Like, what are you talking about? Get out. Like, so ridiculous. Ex-handball player thinks he's got it all locked down. So yeah, I'll definitely say all of them, Nickel and Nyholm, Casper shit, all of the boys, like they're my pick for sure.
Wasn't there also a caster that like quit just when the pandemic hit, like at the news of it, and then went to spend other people's money on expensive players? That's also.
I don't think Nick did any of that though. What are you talking about? Classic callback.
What about the CSPPA? No one's mentioned those.
I mean,
Wait a minute. Sneakiest cunt of the year. Surely at least as a contender. CSPPA just being like, look, we didn't do any of the stuff you said, all right, but we're not legally obliged to, so pay us. It's like, well, that's certainly a bold move. certainly a bold angle to take. Look, I might not have done any things I said I'd do, but I want that money, all right. It's like,
just want to let you know as well, Jason, in real time, right? Someone has replied to one of the links to the Twitch with Moses let twists go, a crime that will not go unpunished.
what?
We seek
Murder him or
we
something.
seek restitution, bald man. So
Rest.
That's a classic. Bald is always the way to go.
That was
It
me.
is, it
Sorry.
is. Yeah, I mean they've got you there. They have got you there. But anyway, yeah. So
You are indeed bald. They got you.
They have got you there. They have got you. But yeah, the CSPPA, I don't know, because it's kind of coming at the end, and I think it's a bit of a mixed bag with the CSPPA because you're talking about an entity. I think they've done some good things this year. I think it's just they've done this mad heel turn just before we go into like the next year, and therefore there is a little bit of recency bias attached.
I know who has to win this. I know who should win this. Logically, the sneakiest cunt of 2020 has to be ESL just cutting all those EPL teams and then just being like, styling on you boys. It's out. The news is out. Out of nowhere. That was out of nowhere.
That is really bad, actually.
What day was that? When did that go down?
That was like January or something, wasn't it? Whatever it was.
It was March, I think. It was like,
so when Vimo started playing in a professional scene.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Way to diffuse the situation. It's not bad.
And then Henry just scores. You know, I'm thinking. Yeah, what a mad callback that is. It's not even a reference to anything.
That was for me and Henry. That was for me and Henry.
His own
money.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good shout. Here's another one. Fucking Arlu.
Oh God.
Oh.
Listen, what's you all see? Wait, literally on fire.
By the way, that is mental. Think about it, right? Finns are notorious for not actually having like all their shit out on Front Street, especially not in English. They'll do it on some Finnish site. The idea, you wait until the end of the year. Remember, there had been no flare-ups. I've even told the story myself. Alexi B himself earlier this year basically told me, like, look, I don't really want to do interviews about the end stuff. Like, it's just going to be drama. I want to like succeed with OG, and one day, you know, when it's down the line, we can talk about all that. So I was like, okay, so it's never going to come out. That's why I teased a few of the stories on By the Numbers. But what's mad is Alu thought, well, I've got away with it the whole year, so fuck it. Why not just go on a show and try and make myself seem like the most benevolent human being in the world? How could that possibly backfire? At which point, every Finnish player who's played with him is like, fuck Alu. It's like, this is unreal, isn't it? Like they're sending.
Did
like,
you see what he said today, though? Did you see what he said today? He literally put out a series of tweets going, I thought he had better teammates.
You know what my biggest feeling is, guys? Liking you guys too much. I should have been worse to you.
Yeah, I should have been more ruthless.
He's ridiculous, isn't he? I know.
That is mental. So he's definitely up there. I think I'll give an honourable mention to fucking God Emperor Nico as well. Because, listen, Santa Cold Zera.
That's pretty next level, yeah.
Yeah, just come over. We'll be bros. We'll make phase work. We'll do it all together. I wouldn't make you just, you know, leave Brazil in the middle of like a pandemic. Come up, pandemic wasn't happening then, but we'll
Yanko here.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll embellish it. Mate, it's always been a pandemic, hasn't it? Really, it's always never ending. So anyway, yeah, you come over to Europe, mate, and we'll all play together, and I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. And then what does he do? Week later, leaves him. Made it a week. Wasn't months. Didn't give it a good go. There you go. Nico, sneakiest cunt of the year. He's done it again.
Even that, remember, he left right after they won that tournament. I know technically he probably signed the deal before, but even that's mad. Just you win the tournament. Oh, finally, Nico, bro, we won that tournament. Yeah, it's nothing in the world would let me stay with you, though. But I'm off anyway, so enjoy the phase. It's been real.
I just love the extra detail of fucking Cold Zera's mother coming out on with that boomer tweet. Like, just like, the Cold Zera family begs you to reconsider. Like,
oh my God.
Get me the fuck out of it.
Why was she talking like she was like a representative of the Waylander Corporation in an alien movie coming to meet Ripley? Like, surely we can negotiate for the seed of the alien Ripley. Like, why don't you say like, please don't leave? Not like the Zera family wish it sends you season's greetings on not leaving Face Clan.
That was mental. Like that whole thing. And listen, I'll throw Chris J in there as well. Like, got to after everything we said. Chris J definitely comes in. At the end of the year. Listen, like he literally said, right, publicly, you're in a union that's meant to be looking after the players and all of that. And he said, yeah, but fuck NA because it's a dead scene. What can we do? So I guess just fuck all of y'all. You know what I mean? That's outrageous. You're meant to be a rep.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, listen, he misspoke, and that should have never been something he got into on Twitter.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's not a good thing, but I wouldn't put that in sneakiest. I think sneakiest con. I think he's just a little misguided, perhaps, in the approach, and probably obviously very impressionable to what people as part of CSPPA were telling him. I wouldn't fucking wreck Chris J for life over that. I think he just.
I don't want to maybe wreck for life, but this is an annual award. He gets a mention for me.
Can we just mention the part as well, where not just the organizations that had coaches that were cheating, but then the ones that hired them back again and just made public statements saying they'll still. That's That probably qualifies.
Oh,
as well,
I mean,
doesn't it?
listen, there needs to be a special award for that Zona guy or
I
that
know.
fucking hard Legion org. Like some special award, like
Emperor of India.
the new kid from
Ugh.
fucking Space Award. Because they're just outrageous, mate. 3 cheating coaches, one of which was the fucking worst, right? and then they just, we'll just
Hire him
fucking
for a development team.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Surely the winner has to be Starix, the guy who goes, yeah, there was loads of cheating. In fact, this cheat used to exist 4 years ago. And you know that flusher, everyone knows he cheats. They won't tell you, but everyone thinks he does. And then goes, what's that? I cheated. Didn't even notice. Fuck you all.
I know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's
What
a
I
good
love
one.
about him is it has the NIHOM like seal of approval where you never actually acknowledge you did anything wrong. You're just like, I guess I just win again. Cool.
Yeah, that was
about,
ridiculous. The fact that he had to like present this sort of like mad global conspiracy as well, like feeding all of those vax sucks, degenerate like flat Earth.
That was
CS
sneaky
fans,
as
what we've got.
fuck. Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I mean, like I know that Valve just wouldn't ban Flusher for all that cheating he did because it would ruin the scene. The idea, by the way, that like you have to simultaneously believe Valve give a fuck about the scene, like they wouldn't just roll in and ban any, like they'll ban anyone they
the
want.
flaw
They
in that
don't
logic.
care.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fundamental flaw. Like you're going, oh, Valve cares so much about the scene. They would lose so much money off it. Then the rest of the year, you're crying about how they don't care about the scene. Pick one. Pick a side of the fence and fucking stay on it, dickhead.
What about all the match fixers in the semi-pros that are now moving on to different games or just whatever, just getting out
They're
scot-free?
getting it in 2021, Jace.
I know.
Oh,
How many
yeah.
hours
Are
do
they
we
gonna get
have
rid of
actually
it?
established
Still
who it's
coming?
Sneakiest con? It's apparently still coming, but it just hasn't come yet, has it?
Mate,
They
you
already
done-
are.
ESIC were like, yeah, we'll just do a nice quick investigation into all the match fixing going on in tier. Oh God, no! Close it. Just opening a fucking sewerage
It was
pipe.
like the arc in Indiana Jones. It just everything just kept coming out.
Just face melting, like Kyanite and Chewie doing a 5 mapper.
I've got a question for you.
Nice.
If we're talking about Sneakiest cunts, what
Oh, yeah.
about when Blast thought they could also announce their sponsorship with Neom and then just go, you know what? I don't think this is going to blow up or anything. Let's just let this one lie for a week or two.
That was
Probably not.
great.
Probably no big deal. And then Moses was like, actually, Moses wins Sneakiest Cunt of the Year because he was like, you know what? I've never ever actually put myself on the line because obviously I'm scared to like fucking get fired from this job. I'm just casting video games. How do I even get into this?
Here we go.
As he always said, he
Here we
used to
go.
be the one who said the classic line, "We've got the best job in the world. All we have to do is not fuck it up." But once he knew already that he was leaving a week later, he was like, right, I'm going to have to represent the union of talent here. Big boy Moses is coming in. Listen, Blast, the way you have treated talent isn't. You're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of... And then the whole time he just knew the next week he was going to a new job anyway. But he's like, you know what? I don't have to work under these conditions. I'll put my life on the line. Well, maybe not my life, my job on the line. And he was like, so what do you think of that, Blast? By the way, I'm going to join Cloud9 now. Whatever. Team Liquid, who gives a fuck? They're all the same.
That was the original plan. That was the
Didn't
original
stick the
plan. And
landing. Didn't stick the landing.
Henry said, no, we're not. We're getting
They're all
that.
the same.
We're no bald frauds here. Now about Kassad. But yeah, no,
Speaking of Moses, pulling that last minute.
What's that? The
You knew you had your other job lined up, but then you took like a huge stand for talent side, but you were just leaving talent anyway.
listen.
I actually, by the way, I wasn't even trying to like take a stand for talent side. I was just pissed off at how they were
Okay.
just doing it in general. I wasn't trying to be like some martyr.
Just a little bit more forceful than I'm used to, an official.
Yeah,
capacity.
I'll stand up. I'll stand up for Jason here. It's like at the end of the day, like what better time to fucking do something like that? You know what I mean? It's like. Like he still didn't have to say it. The smart thing to do is obviously just say nothing in esports and just be complicit with all the evil and all the ridiculousness. I mean, look at like how many sneaky cunts we've listed here, and we could go for another hour just on this award.
Oh, I've got
alone.
at least 10 more on my
Yeah,
list.
yeah. Oh well, look, listen, leave the twists drama alone, Jason. It's no, I'm just kidding. There's nothing there, guys. Don't worry, that's a joke. Just a friendly, fluffy joke.
All still mates.
All still mates for sure. But yeah, like, so I'll stand up for Jason. I think he did the right thing. And I think the only thing that was going to make Blast even acknowledge it publicly was if a high profile member of talent said something about it. So Jason,
I don't think that's okay. I'm going to step in there for a second. That's not fair. It shouldn't be the responsibility.
Oh, it
of
shouldn't
the
be.
No, I'm not saying it is.
We
I'm
cannot
not saying
say. For a second, actually, I want to let's address this for a second. The people who didn't actually work the broadcast, the people who didn't have any stake in the game whatsoever, putting their names on the line,
we go.
putting
Do
their
it, baby.
reputations out.
I did
They're the
notice
people
that.
that you should actually be the fucking whatever this award is, the
Sneaky
cunt.
award, sneaky cunt award, whatever it is. They're the sneaky cunts. The people who are calling out other members of talent. You know who you are. I'm not going to call you out, but you know exactly who you are. There's a handful of them, and people
We've got
who
your
just want to be
names.
part
We've
of
got
it.
your Twitters.
You just want to be part of the movement. You had no intention of actually helping out the scene, and it was just
Why do you
bandwagoning
hate
the
Dust
situation.
so much, Henry?
And it's just like the people who are calling out the other broadcast talents. The reason Jason had to say something.
I wish the bigger talent members would say something.
That was the only
about this
reason
issue.
Jason had to say anything, because his
you.
actual colleagues put him on the line so much. They forced our hand to say something that had nothing to do with us. It should not be our responsibility to fix other people's bullshit like that.
You
and
know
I
what,
hate
then?
the fact that it was
If we're
Gordon's
keeping
fault.
it real, we always keep it real on this show, and I'm sober for a change.
This got
So
real.
here it is.
Where's this going? Come on.
No. Because Henry's gone real. Look, there he is. Look, he's got his
Sorry.
serious face on.
That's
So
not-
I'm gonna take the energy Henry's put into the room, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be the guy, as per usual, that just says the full truth. He's
All right.
talking about James Banks, and on top of that,
All right. Yeah.
on top of that, we are forgetting James Banks and the whole red eye thing.
Ooh,
So
there's the
even-
sneakiest cunt of the year. Last
So
minute.
there you go. There we all love him, except not anymore it seems. But and
Which one?
he'll be
Which one are we
super-
talking about?
he'll be fucking super fucking pissed off when
Which
he
one?
sees it.
Which one?
But James. But yeah, James Banks is definitely in with a shout of sneakiest cunt of the year, no doubt. That came from totally left field. Like, you've got all these people who've like legitimately been like fucking abused and like had to deal with all this stuff. And if you're looking at that thinking, yeah, this is my time to get my fucking grievances out and head, that's cynical in and of itself. And then to do it in the manner you did it in. I mean, we've said this many times on the show. He knows how I feel about it. I told him not to do it. I said, listen, I just think your career's going well. Paul's doing less and less events. You'll probably never the twins she'll meet. Why not just go forth and be happy? But it was that like, I must make him pay component to it. And I think once you start bringing up people's families,
There's a line that you shouldn't cross. for
I'm
sure.
out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's got to
Why
be
is
really,
so
really
tough on the
extreme.
menu this year? Like everyone's so fucking bored at home. All they've got invested in is just fucking each other over, being as horrible as possible, exposing people, canceling them. Like, fuck everyone who's engaged in that activity this year. You're all the sneakiest cunts in my book. Anyone who's trying to get involved in that sort of shit. So
Exactly.
that's my 2 cents on that. You don't have to give anyone else a big shout out or anything. There's
You
anyone
don't
who's
have
engaged
to.
in that behavior.
I like it, Henry. I like it, mate. You've ruined the mood, but I like
Sorry.
it. It's great.
No, I think he augmented it. I think he did a really brought some anger into this broadcast. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
that's
that.
what we need, definitely. Let's hostility. Do you remember in 2015, guys? Do you remember? Anyway, right, worst roster change. Worst.
The jokes themselves.
Fuck me. I gotta go to the bathroom. Be right back.
He's got diarrhea again, lads. Brown chinos.
Brown chinos.
Oh no! So while
no.
Jason's fighting for his life, there's got to be some good shouts for this.
There's got to be.
Alexi B was last year, wasn't
That
it?
was 2019,
Yeah, I
the
was
very
gonna say,
tail
yeah.
end. Yeah,
Yeah. So we can't use that one.
definitely not. That would have an honourable mention still.
Oh
to be
yeah,
fair.
I mean it's so bad. We're still feeling the effects of it.
Exactly.
Like, so that is
I'm
a
looking
bad
down the rosters now to see where anything leaks off the page.
there's this Cloud9. Have you heard of it? You heard of these guys?
Good place to start. I don't know. Liquid could have a good shout at the end of the year.
Why have you done that? Especially while he's not here.
Exactly.
Ron, he can't even defend himself. That's why, isn't it?
I think we're all thinking it.
Absolutely outrageous.
Didn't MSL rejoin North at the start of this year? Did he come back this year?
Yeah, he
I
came
think
back
he
in
was
the
already in the
and
team,
then
wasn't he?
removed-
Was that
removed
earlier
off.
this year?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Doesn't
want
it-
to call that a bad roster move because I think like MSL was in a fucking
no, but
shit
it was
position.
more like dropping him and then come back.
dropping him.
Right.
Oh,
Doesn't
I
it-
mean that might be its own award, like biggest cuckold of the year. No,
All right.
new award.
Is that not already
Taking
an
the award
I
from
don't-
Daps for the first year.
Exactly. Daps has been the reigning cuckold champion for years.
Doesn't it say a lot about North as well that none of us even know what they're really doing at any given point in time? Just
They,
Alright,
don't, mate. They don't.
I might have one. It's a bit spicy. But I've got one though.
on.
JKS to
I
complexity.
knew you were
Hasn't
gonna say
landed,
it.
has
I
it?
knew you were
Hasn't
gonna say
landed at
JKS.
all, has it, boys?
It's been
the
what, 2
worst of the
tournaments.
year.
Oh Christ!
Yeah.
That's what I get, isn't it? That's what I get every time we lose. Oh, it's been a month. You just say no, $20 million, all of this. If I say anything else about anyone else, I'll give him some time, Henry. Come on, mate. Give him a chance.
Yeah. Now that Woxic is out of control. Like, you know.
I mean, do we-
Yeah.
Do we even count the Astralis stuff as like that? Are they like, what are they? Like the things that were happening in the middle of the year where random people were just playing for Astralis?
Oh, by the way, Yugi
what
to
is
Astralis could definitely be one of these moves. That's a pretty bad roster move right there. Because remember,
Yes.
I didn't do this. They were the ones that implied he was a real player. If they'd have just admitted, look, he's just standing until we get the others back, that's one thing. I agree with you, Anders. Technically, I don't count that as a real move. But if they believe he was a real rotation player, that was a terrible pickup.
Yeah, I mean, like Yugi should never have Astralis like on his CV. Like Yugi,
That's gross.
like no, I mean for real. I'm gonna call it for the last like 2 years. He's probably been the worst like AWPer that even has like a claim to be at top level like CS, and yet he's been on North and Astralis, two like top tier teams. He's absolutely fucking terrible. He's
Czech stealer of the year for sure.
Oh, I mean, no doubt, right? Like when he was brought into Astralis, that was when I was new. No, it's not.
Should be.
Mo's in the chat saying he's better than you. I mean, I'm a one-eyed, one-handed old man. Like, yeah, I fucking hope so.
Toe.
Yeah, I broke my toe. I did. The thing is, Mo, he's on a par with you. That's the problem, I would say. Like, that's a much bigger problem. Like, I might even be persuaded to have you over Yugi. Like, Yugi.
Speaking of Czech stealing AWPers.
Yeah, here he is.
Just saying.
But that's a tough one. I think the whole Astralis mess definitely a good shout. I'm trying to think. Like,
I'm trying to think of some of the roster changes that even happened this year.
Yeah, I mean,
there hasn't been many like massive ones really. Like bad ones, I don't think.
The other problem as well is like obviously a lot of the teams that went downhill because they have good players just kept their players, didn't they? So like I can't really diss many of the moves.
Yeah, there hasn't.
He come to Apex, didn't really work out for him, did he? He's left within a month or something. That wasn't really anything anyway, I suppose. And no one really had massive expectations.
Well. He was being shopped around to a bunch of top teams. I don't even know how we ended up on Apex. And they said it was a 3-year contract.
Yeah, they're trying to rebuild like the Norwegian sort of pedigree or something. Didn't really work out though, did it?
Do they even still do Hellfragger anymore? Is that still alive? That was all they ever had over there.
Didn't there they had like a Norwegian national Counterstrike league? I think like last year
the team that that's what I'm talking
the team
about.
that won it like 3 years in a row apparently got caught cheating or something last year. I think.
Oh, nice.
I heard.
Oh, that wasn't Hellfragger. I don't think.
Even though I guess this is like tenuous because obviously there haven't been any big candidates. I know it wasn't like their choice entirely, but whatever role Mad Lions played in letting Bobski go from their team is stupid as fuck in my opinion. Because as far as I know, like that player should definitely have stayed as the star player in that team. He should have been paid wherever he needed to be paid, and whatever they had to deal with. Listen, he did have attitude issue. You just got to deal with it, haven't you? Like you can't get players like that back. So I think that was a fuck up letting him go.
Yeah, I mean, where are Mad Lions at now? I mean, like I like. Well, I mean, I like
the party at the moment.
Refresh has been sick since he's joined again. Like, but overall, yeah, they're not really doing it. But yeah, I think that could be a good shout. Like this, Mad Lions, weren't they like 5th in the world at one point? They were in the top.
I think they were maybe like 12th or something at one point. I don't think it was as high as that.
I thought they broke into the top 10 for sure 1 month.
Maybe briefly.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm totally wrong, probably. But yeah, all right. Well, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of transfer activity. I'll talk about the JKS thing. Like, I just don't think, Henry, it's like there's been a long enough time.
I just feel like in terms of what it was.
It's supposed to be a blockbuster win
built up to be, and it's just the fact it's kind of been a little bit lukewarm. Like, sure, it's I'm blaming anyone. It's just like in terms of the roster change, it was the biggest thing in the world, right? It's like this is the best player you could possibly money can buy, and it just like the way it's landed. Sure, it needs some time, but when you have that sort of player come in, you do expect it to have some fireworks to go off, not just a little fizz at the end.
Yeah, they had a stand in at the last tournament, but yeah,
that's true.
Like on an individual level, I agree with you. Like, I don't think he's done like a lot to impress me since he's got in the team, and he's doing that thing I hate, which I know Jason knows that I hate it. When players play, playing with a face like a smacked ass, like you're miserable and you're emo. Okay. I fucking hate that. Like, if you're having a bad game, the one thing you can contribute is encourage your teammates. If you're sat there all fucking emo, like, then you're actually contributing to the demise.
By the way, I will just say there is something a little bit dodgy about the fact that Henry's calling out all these moves. I tell you what, that JKS and those Jacob, man, overrated players, if you ask me. I think whoever signed them a bloody idiot. That's what I said.
Now let's talk about S-Attack. Signing of the year. S-Attack.
I agree. Go my vote.
Well, no, listen, we'll segue into the next award, and we've got
right.
biggest disappointment.
Where
Now
can we
again,
go with it?
this is broad. This is broad. It can be anything. It can be an event that was a letdown.
Isn't
It
the
can be
obvious
an
thing COVID just for this, just because it ruined the fucking land circuit? It
I
seems
mean, yeah.
obvious, that one.
I wasn't looking forward to COVID, to be honest. So it was not a disappointment, was it? I knew what I
When
was
I
getting
first heard
into.
about COVID, I thought brilliant.
It's a pretty bold statement to come in with. I wasn't actually that underwhelmed by COVID. You know, I didn't have expectations. You know, I just came in, did
I
the
was like
job,
too many of us anyway. Great reset. Yeah, I was loving it, but now that it's here, it's just a bit.
What about that massive bet that you made, Anders, on Trump winning all those swing states?
You know
Mate,
what?
to be fair, Anders, like you said to me as recent as like 2 weeks ago, you think he's still going to win the election. It's like I don't know what's wrong with your brain.
Anders and I reaffirmed a bet that we had just last week. Actually,
Yes.
He's gone in.
You've refreshed it.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, you sure you want to stay in on this bet? We can get out right now."
Andy,
All I
please,
know I'm
what
good.
are you doing?
Play on this one. You'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, listen, it's still on. It's still perfectly on. And I obviously have to say this.
It's so
you know,
stupid.
This is obviously not the same as some sort of a ridiculous endorsement, but I am living in the best possible world right now. Like everyone else is living in this.
He said that statement now at the end of 2020 for fuck's sake. That's the most ridiculous out of context clip I've ever heard.
It's because
It's the way he goes, I don't want you to think of this as endorsement, but life has never been better for the human race right now. What the fuck?
listen,
You are so mentally ill, Anders.
Go with that. Come on.
all I'm saying is everyone else is all miserable about 2021.
Yeah.
You know,
Obvious reasons. Keep
know,
going.
politics is shit, and like the media's died, and everything is fucked, and no one actually wants anyone to be president anymore. And all I'm saying is like I'm living in this like amazing world where there's like potential, like maybe the CIA influenced the election. Like I think it's amazing. Like I love all of it.
Yeah,
Things have come true. Yeah.
Henry, that's what he thinks is amazing.
I know.
Not there's all this technology. We've got vaccines. We've done Operation
all that.
Warp Speed. Now, fuck all that. The CIA might have rigged an election.
Yeah, it's like he's going Walter. Like Walter's like, Daddy, the world's scary now. What are you on about, son? The CIA could have, could have performed the coup on the American election. Everything, gold prices are going up. XR. Have I told you about XRP?
That's exactly what I mean.
Good night.
Now, get to
listen.
bed. Daddy will be in to read you a story about banana republics in 5 minutes. We'll be there.
All I'm just saying.
Live in
You
a
guys,
banana republic one day, Dad. Only if you're very lucky and Nickel and Ihom works really hard.
all I'm saying is like living the real world sucks compared to what I'm doing. You should come join me. It's way more fun. That's my
It's sort
all
of
I'm
cop
saying.
fucking
I know,
isn't it?
I believe Jim Jones said the exact same thing shortly before.
Basically, if
Now
I'm
we all know his
cooling
name.
and plummeted forever. You
If
know?
I
famous,
can
isn't it, Richard?
combine the premise of what was that fucking cult? I can't remember the name of it now.
The
What was
Branch
that,
Davidians
Richard?
in Waco.
The one that had the fucking comet was coming over and you were going to beam up to the
Yeah,
comet.
that was Jonestown. That was Jonestown.
I'm thinking of a different one, I'm pretty sure.
No. I just haven't got the name right. But he called it Jonestown. The name of the cult was.
I know the Jim Jones one you're talking about, but I'm thinking of a different one. I meant that
Heaven's
Anders
Gate.
Heaven's
According to
Heaven's
the
Gate,
chat.
there you go. But
Yeah,
all Anders
Heaven's
basically
Gate,
needs to do is combine the sell of that with crypto somehow, and that's all you need, Anders. You'll get everyone in.
I am trying, if I can, if there is a way to fuse, esports and UFOs and crypto. Actually, I already believe that UFO and cryptos are like that's already.
Go on. Go on.
So, but I'm just so I'm working on it. I'm
It's the
working on it.
alien. It landed on Earth. It's been mutated to everyone's wallets, right?
Well, I mean, how do we get all this technology anyway? Don't
point.
think about it.
See, best way.
I
I'm
did,
convinced.
mate. Hang on. Actually, right. Let me since as Anders is here. No, right. Where was it? Here we go. So, right now, I don't recommend you go to the subreddit conspiracy. I don't recommend it at all. Let me tell you, I do go there. I like all the mental subreddits. Fact sucks,
You got the classics. You got your vax socks. You got conspiracy. You got the
r/cloud9. There's the bald fraud subreddit, very popular all of a sudden. r/bald fraud. But anyway, let me just read you.
Are there any coaches that don't cheat in this game? But it's a good one.
Winning at something. Yeah.
There you go.
Right. So shortly, right. So sometime this guy says, I have figured out a complete chronology of UFO and alien presence on Earth. This
Good
is the
start.
point.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Listening to by the numbers, biggest disappointment.
Let's go on this.
Right. So sometime in the 1930s, Germany made contact with entities from elsewhere and obtained advanced technology. This advanced tech was the foundation of the various anti-gravity and time manipulation technologies studied by the German rocket scientists at their top secret locations. America and the Soviet Union became aware of this, and after the war, both sides made haste to bring those scientists to their countries straight into secret projects. This was done through something called Operation Paperclip.
There you go.
Great name.
Look into it, bro.
In 1947, 2 alien craft crashed in New Mexico. One crashed near Corona. X-Files. Put the X-Files music in, Sam. Right. The other crashed many miles away, likely near Magdalena. The craft at Corona was discovered in July 1947, but the other wasn't discovered until 1949. Inside the craft, there were extraterrestrial bodies.
Investigating that second craft or something. Well, was that 2 years later? What the fuck's going on with this one? Like, is Ian Smith finally ready to come out with his report on the dead bodies? Are the aliens or not, mate?
Right. This caused the classification of the subject to jump from being secret to special classification, way above top secret.
Ooh, there we go.
So you've got
Way
secret,
above.
way above top secret. As a consequence of this, the CIA and the NSA were both established. The whole intelligence apparatus, as we know it, was established as a direct consequence of what was discovered in Roswell. The whole issue was buried deep in unacknowledged special access programs, and very few people knew the whole story. Then it has been decided the truth could not be handled by the public,
Of course not.
but it
Jack
must
Nicholson
be
told us.
revealed eventually.
Yeah.
So the government has embarked on a slow drip disclosure campaign, which began in the 1950s and continues to this day. We've been slowly conditioned to accept the ET presence, and the disclosure has ramped up in recent years. Space Force has existed for some time now, and in fact, NASA was nothing more than a low-level public face of hiding UFOs for decades. Full disclosure, accepting the really nasty stuff like missing persons and human mutilations, contact with aliens is imminent. Does that sound?
I believe about 70% of that, mate.
There's a lot of good shit in there.
I think that's mostly true. Yeah.
There's a lot of good shit in there.
Get the fact checkers on it. What are those fact checking sites called? Whatever they are.
Listen, all I'm going to say is this. If you come up with a salient explanation for why extraterrestrial life flies across the universe, perhaps even pan-dimensionally, and comes here and then just sticks things up your ass, I'd like to hear it.
It's like OnlyFans, but with the universe.
Yeah.
Of course. Or Twitch. We're full circle, guys. But anyway, let's go.
Wait,
what was the biggest disappointment? What was the biggest disappointment?
I think only one person said a disappointment this year.
Biggest disappointment was that alien craft not getting discovered till 2 years later.
Exactly.
What the fuck was it?
Space Force. No, I think CSPPA could be considered one. For sure.
That's what we're going with. After all that.
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
You could do. Well, I mean, you could always. Just
What do you want me to say then? Well, Jason's coaching career. I mean, like, you know, like, how
nice.
do we want to
It'd be
make
nice.
it?
Be
All
nice.
right, let's do it then. You were 7th in the world, Jason. You're 17th now. I mean, you know, it's an outrage. It's not good enough. There you go.
Well, we're 10th now, so
Brilliant.
thanks.
Definitely an acceptable rank for the former world's #1 team. There you go, Henry. You're happy now. Everyone's
it's got all good, isn't it?
Focus on me, Henry.
Yeah,
You changed.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
That was not what I meant. I just wanted to answer. I wanted to answer the question.
The word Colossus. I'm disappointed with.
I'll tell you what. I'll put myself up. I'll put myself up. HenryG's expectations for Flashpoint Cloud9. I would say that's up there for biggest disappointment. He came dead last, losing the teams he should have been. $20 million for this. I would say that's probably the biggest disappointment of the year. Considering,
did I tell you, Jason? I've been working on songs to immortalize your and Henry's career, and Henry wanted me to record him, but I've been a bit sick. You can probably tell my voice is a little bit croaky.
Nice.
Give us a little demo.
Give us
Come
a
on.
stanza.
Well, so we've been working on like this $20 million for this, the Cloud9 theme.
Can you make Red Eye sing it?
Eventually, I think we'll get him back.
I feel like he's a bit out of the public eye at the moment, Anders, but the circumstances maybe, It's not really getting requests at the moment, Anders. I appreciate I like it though. I think you should do it as well. At least the cover.
Anyway,
Right.
Richard 2. Here we go.
Come on.
Okay. We won a major in 2018.
No, sing it. Come on, sing
I'm
it.
not singing it.
Why? This is a song. You got to sing it, mate. How much?
2018.
Well, it's Christmas special. Make it Christmassy, mate. Come on.
Why are you like this?
Just throw on some background.
If you want to write songs about Jason and I, you can fucking sing them. Now get up.
Right.
The anger is back.
That's right, Henry.
Go on, I'll auto-tune it
You
in the
either
VOD.
sing them or you don't fucking say them.
It'll be auto-tuned in the VOD, right? So, right.
We won a major in 2018. It was the greatest team we'd ever seen. Then it came apart at the seams until HenryG rekindled our dreams. He told us a Colossus he'd build, that the roster he bought would leave us thrilled. That promise still remains unfulfilled, and now the fans are calling to have him killed.
Dark at the end on that one.
Well, no, that's just the first verse.
Okay. Fair enough.
great.
The chorus is $20 million for this, staring deep into the abyss. $20 million for this. Is HenryG taking the piss? We got loads. I've done loads of verses.
Okay.
$20 million for this. They said us a tag couldn't miss. That's why we bought him from Astralis. Times he played for them, 36.
It was a bit loosely held together on the last couple.
Times he played for them? Question mark 36.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it all together now with Jason. We wanted to record one called Bald Fraud, but
Naturally, yes, you do, yeah. Yep.
right, but to the tune of Park Life by Blur. So it would be like, when I wake up in the morning, I'll read Twist's resignation, Bald Fraud, and it just goes on like that.
That's potential.
Yeah,
All the millions.
Yeah, oh yeah, we did the chorus for it as well. All the millions, so many millions, we pissed them all away up against the wall. Bald Fraud. There you go.
Is there any way?
It's pretty good.
Is there any way that we can get DDK to rap the first one though? Is that possible? Could it be a
Mate,
rap?
I'm sure DDK is about to drop his fucking straight fire fucking mixtape with Sean Gares, isn't he, or whatever the fuck he's doing these
Mate, with where he's at in his career at this point in time, people will be paying him not to rap about songs, and that'll be his only income stream. I'll be the first fucking one. I'll top tier on that Patreon, mate.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. Yeah, can you do a rap about how Moses is a Bald Fraud and somehow link it to Quake gameplay? If you can do that, that'd be fantastic. But anyway, biggest joke of the year.
Christ.
What's the difference between
Yeah.
what's the difference between biggest joke and biggest disappointment?
Well, Joe can be like a meme as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Bald Fraud is the late edition.
For fuck's sake.
There we go. Yeah.
Listen, someone nominated Corona on the disappointment. Could the response to Corona be the biggest joke? Like just the overall utter incompetence.
I mean,
from, like,
Esports bubbles. That's a joke.
Yeah. Oh god,
Just-
that is a fucking joke.
just the way that we all have to
Yeah.
pretend that we're governed by reasonable people who are like supposedly, supposed to be sort of better than I don't know, the average person, and then the results don't really seem to bear that out in any way.
The ongoing incompetence of people in esports never ceases to fucking amaze me.
That one's pretty
Like,
good, yeah.
Yeah, the
Shout out
idea
to
that, like,
three-man desks.
Yeah.
Spice something up there.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, shout out to the 3-man desks.
Anyone want to run with it? No?
It's so
It's-
so
no, I think-
stupid
listen-
that we've gone backwards. That is a joke that we've actually gone
fucks
back
mad,
to like
isn't
2015.
So mad.
They're not just 3-man desks, are they? Though they do also double as casting desks.
It's a
like-
card. I'm talking about the casting desk / 3-man desk. Just
Yeah,
want
of
to kind
course.
Yeah, the 3-man casting / analyst.
So
Yeah.
even just the amount of games some of those people are doing in a day, we really have gone back in time. It's actually mental. That's why when those events like brag about the event, it's like, this is in such bad taste. You are literally on some sweatshop level shit. Why are you bragging?
I mean, yeah, like, but also as well, it's
You
just like
fucking-
I was watching like in ESL when they were doing that tournament with the teams that the smaller teams, the ones Jason loses to, and just
Yeah, we know.
Those
teams.
teams.
Triumph,
Why did
Those
I
dreams.
to
New
come on the
England
show?
Whalers.
Listen, wait. Let me just go back in time. Let me look at my DMs right here. Richard
Yeah.
says, Hey,
I can do
what
the
are
same,
you,
by the
what,
way.
no,
I can
look,
do the same.
Leak in
Richard
the
says-
DMs.
What are you doing? Now that everything's all over, what are you doing on the 23rd? And I respond with, as the good friend that I am, Richard, I'll do whatever you need. When do you need me on? When do you need me here? And this is what I get. Henry, what have you got? Read your DMs.
Let's have a look.
Bold fraud. You are a bold fraud.
We're doing the show tonight. We're going to dig into Jason all night long. If you want to join,
Don't tell Jason because it'll ruin the moment as usual. You know.
if he brings up the logs, I repeat, do not mention this conversation. Do not talk about this chat.
By the way, Richard, did you see that the other day when there was that one where fucking Biden just goes like end of quotation?
Yeah, no, so that. Mate, he called someone a one-horse pony yesterday. What the fuck is he doing? Like,
just like he goes, and we'll do this. End of quotation.
yeah, he fucking Ron Burgundy
the
himself.
maddest of all time. It's so mental, isn't it? It's so mental.
But no, anyway, I was watching one of them tournaments, and like, I don't know, can't remember who was playing, Triumph or something we're playing. And it was a tri-cast of Maniac, Pimp, and James Banks. And it's like, you can't do that.
That's like against the fucking Convention of Human Rights or something, isn't it? That should be a war crime. None
of them.
Like, which one am I waiting to stop talking? They're all just
none
talking.
of them are play-by-play.
No, it's mental.
None of them are playable. So no, but like you're like look at it from their point of view. They can't say no. They can't say no to it. They've got to do it. But you know, they know that's fucking suboptimal. It was.
Just the only caveat to say is obviously, you know, Semler and I were stuck in isolation in London, and you know, I think that's how that came about. Just to say.
Listen, obviously, Banks has the makings of a great play-by-play commentator because he has that internal dialogue going on that a commentator hears of. Would you look at that? Look at that. Have a look at that as well. Keep that. Look. Tell them about that, lads. Call back to the old days.
That's a good one.
Would you look at that? So do we have a big joke that
That's a pretty bad desk, I can't lie. Just because, as you say, it makes no sense at all.
So we're going COVID response.
COVID's the obvious one.
3 caster desks, esports bubbles, esports incompetence, Jason's coaching career.
Can we nominate
so many jokes?
Can we nominate
the Colossus?
I don't think. I think. Listen,
throw that in there.
The fucking Colossus.
It's not really related to CS, but it did come from the CS community, so I'll put it out there. One of my favourite jokes of the year was being told the whole year that I've got to watch out for this hot shit Valorant game. Don't know who in this call would tell me it's going to be awesome at that, but just bigging up this game 24/7.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Stop the clock. Stop the clock.
All I'm going to say is this, Henry.
Stop the vote.
The worst
the clock.
feature of Valorant is the fucking maps, and that's the one thing everyone told me was going to be awesome because Volcano was involved. The maps are garbage.
So let's just unpack this for a second. I take it from your statement there. You're throwing that in my direction. Let's just call it what it is.
You were hyping it up a little bit.
I was, and my statement was, this is the best game I've played since CSGO. I was very careful with my verbiage. I want to make sure it's clear. I'm not saying it's better than CSGO, but tell me one other game that's got close in 20 years. Tell me one game that's got close. Not one. And I said it's the best game. Hearthstone. Well, yeah.
Clash Royale.
Fair play. Rocket League. Yeah, that's up there.
Rainbow Six.
I don't think there's been one game, and in my opinion, which I think is a pretty accurate shout, it's the best game since CSGO in that genre that's even had a look in. That's all I said, and I haven't really gone near it since because it's not my cup of tea, mate. Like, to be honest with you, it's too much going on. It's too diluted, and it'll be a nightmare to manage going forward. Every time they make a change, add a new agent, whatever it is, it's going to fuck the entire game, and that's just not for me. It's too many variables. It's a good game. I like it. I think it's a fun game. It's got an esports scene, but this is not for me.
I haven't seen
a serious one
fucked by a load of agents. Someone were just completely imbalanced in their behaviour since everything else in esports. It's a little joke about agents there.
Not bad. I'll throw in a serious one. The esports architect stuff from Flashpoint was pretty funny.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was actually
a real joke. Yeah,
exactly.
Could do awards for the boys, mate. Say the bot major.
People even missed the best line in that one. The best line, the sleeper that you all fucking slept on, sadly, was the line where I say, it was said that 50,000 gathered here because I'm making a meme about the fact that every year that ESL you should just increase the amount of people going, even though the event clearly states like it's like 10k capacity or something. And then also the joke was they used to gather here for free bread and circuses because obviously you just get in all those events for free. Probably too much like resentment just working its way out through subtle lines there, not enough in your face.
You're too late in your career to stop that. Yeah, beating
exactly.
the driving force now, Duncan.
Exactly.
So,
I probably should have just broken a piece of breadage over a fucking desk item, and you might have liked it.
Yeah, true.
That was your best
Oh,
work, to be fair.
that's
You
a
paced
that's a
out.
nice throwback. That's a good one. Yeah.
Tough crowd.
Best.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Best in-game leader of the year. We're back to serious awards, guys. I'm bringing it back.
This is a tough one, actually, because think about it, right? Glaive literally didn't even play a part of the year. Nobody, unfortunately, really credits Apex as the reason Vitality's the best.
True.
Who even is there after that? Like, Cadian in Heroic, like, it'd be mad to even think he can win the award, but he's obviously up there. Like, who the fuck even is the winner for this? This is a tough one, I think.
Alexi
It's so
B,
difficult.
Alexi B is not a terrible one.
Blame F.
Carrigan.
Nico, of course.
As a joke, we should just give it to Nico and just go, well, you all told us he was the best, so he must be, and then just give him the award. He should just win Best in Game Leader of the Year just for the memes alone.
Yeah, I mean, people in the chat
Fucking
type
hell.
tabs, and he did
I'm-
take over.
I'm gonna say
That's
this
not
now.
bad.
Like you've got
That's
to
not bad.
take in-game leaders with a pinch of salt in this era, and there's for
Yes.
one very clear reason. It's because now in the online era,
A lot
let's
of
take
cheating.
NIP for example, right? They've got Threat behind him, and he's essentially going to be acting like the in-game leader for
Yes.
them. Like if he can talk all the time, like that's why I'm not going to put a massive amount of stock in in-game leaders. And at this
Fair
point,
enough.
because I feel like we were trying it in Cloud9, we were trying to do let's get ready for LAN. Let's make sure like Kasar doesn't get too involved. Let's make sure we're preparing ourselves, not ruining ourselves on LANs. Obviously, that backfired because no LANs ever came back, and there was a really bad time to do that. And we've had to since then say we're actually fucking ourselves here by not having this advantage everyone else is using. So I think it's very difficult to quantify in-game leaders, and much further than how they're fragging with going along with their in-game leader role. I feel like until we can test whether they'll bottle it at the big stage, I'm not putting that much weight in the role right now. Not to say they're not doing the work. It's just like it's so difficult to really tell how much assistance they're getting from the coach right now, because he can
And
talk all the
imagine
time.
as well, like another reason I have a big problem, I've said this in many episodes, is the fact that we know that not only were coaches cheating, but they were even stream sniping. That also just
Yeah,
changes it. Like
yeah,
you just
true.
get so much extra info, it's hard to know who's doing what, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, none of that's been laid at the doorstep of the in-game leaders, though, has it? I mean, I don't think that should necessarily detract from what they're doing, unless we can say for definitive.
Who's your pick then? Because I actually like the Tabson shot. I think that's not a bad one, actually, if you think
Well,
about
I
how they
mean,
played.
Yeah, Big has been right up there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, for
And
most of
based
the
on
year.
tactics and stuff, and he took a new
I like
role.
that.
I think that's a pretty good shout, actually.
For what we have available to us, I think that has to be in terms of how they've increased their value in the CS scene, and he's been presumably
Can I-
instrumental there.
I think I agree completely with what Duncan was saying about the reason why we shouldn't nominate Apex, because I think a lot of the hard macro work that's been going on in that team is really the people behind him.
Yeah.
But there is something cool about that, and I mean, it's all, you never know who to credit this for, but I do see like a really cool amount of follow through on whatever is being called. So as in like whenever they have to make like a split decision call, you can tell that like there isn't a lot of waiting around. It's not like they're like, oh, they're halfway into a bomb site and they're just all waiting. It seems like at least he's got like the leadership of it down. I don't know if that is at least half of what, you know, it means to be an in-game leader, like make that call and have the troops follow through. So I still think that's pretty cool, but I don't know who else to mention. Like we just did pick them also as the best team, so I don't know.
Blame
I
us.
actually- I-
Could be
I
in
actually-
with a shout as well.
I actually almost think it would be unfair if we didn't give it to Apex. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I think one, I mean, we give out these awards, but on some level, and I mean, maybe this is the newfound coaching role speaking, but we don't necessarily have an idea of what all these in-game leaders are contributing. And in the past, without this knowledge, we would have hands down just given this to Apex if it wasn't for the online era. We would have said Vitality started the year towards the bottom, not winning events. They've ended the year number one. They've implemented a 6-man lineup.
Well, the
And-
narrative's there for sure.
yeah. So we would have given it to him, and I think we have to look at him as someone who just transformed his entire game. He went from someone who we kind of looked in a different light, and he added in a new aspect. He's got a 6-man rotation playing well. He's got the best player in the world, and he's got a team that's able to win events now. And I don't think you can overlook that. And despite the fact that we want to give credit to the analyst, to XTQZ, the coach, and everything like that, and the infrastructure behind him, man, Apex has still got to do the work in the team, in the game. Like, no matter how much work the people around him are doing, Apex still has to fucking deliver. So, I mean, I don't think you can take that away from him, even with the era.
At least then. He has to at least be in the conversation then. I think I agree with that. That's a fair point.
Well, I mean, Jason might have swayed me. I was kind of like what Henry was saying a little bit, where I was a bit kind of on the fence about it, but I could be.
I will,
convinced
especially
to sway back.
in the absence of knowing, like with Glaive stepping down and even coming back, and Magus was the in-game leader. Like, you know, in the absence of being able to really pinpoint what anyone is doing better than him, how can you not give it to Apex?
Yeah. I think that's fair. Oh, are there any other late additions? Because I did mention, blame F overall, like in terms of what he did, taking the disparate parts of the juggernaut and actually turning them into a competitive team.
I think the only other interesting one to have a conversation about would be Furia in art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with that one, by the way, that's a totally legit narrative if you do the first 3 quarters of the year. The problem is all the NA narratives just got killed by these last events where we put the 2 regions together and obviously none of the NA teams did well. But I agree. I actually think if you just consider what he did in NA, Art was actually doing a fucking amazing job in Furia for most of the year. He was easily the best IGL.
Yeah.
I think this makes it feel not like that,
I also think the problem with that would be, I don't know, and I mean, listen, I got my ass kicked by Furia plenty of times this year. I don't know how much of
10.
it, and I never.
To be specific, 10.
Thanks. How'd the last one go? Did I win the last one? That's all that matters.
Ooh.
Not my money.
No, but I think the only thing I know, we never felt outmatched by Furia from like a calling or a tactical standpoint. They just are like a very hard team to like deal with in terms of like the plays they make on an individual level. And that would be the only thing that would detract me from picking Art. But I think he certainly deserves credit for taking a team like Furia and bringing them to the level they were at. Especially, by the way, at some point, can we just have this bullshit fucking narrative that you cannot improve in North America, considering where the scene is at right now? How many teams have fucking done it before we're just going to give up on that?
Of course,
like,
yeah.
why is it like this? Why do we let this fucking narrative play out in that fashion? Like, you can improve in North America if you have the discipline and the mental ability to actually put yourself to the task. We've seen it happen time and time again with shittier teams that are there right now. So I don't know. We have.
Listen, I agree with everything you're saying in principle, but that does sound bad coming from a coach who did just go to Europe with his team just so you had good practice. Like, listen, I'm just saying the timing.
No.
Point's totally legit.
Wait. We didn't go to Europe just to get good practice. We went to Europe because literally the tournaments told us that they were only doing tournaments in Europe. None of the tournaments at the end of the year were going to be broken up by region. So they said we just had to go to Europe.
That's fair.
It wasn't due to practice. I don't mind staying here for practice and considering, I'd like to be home once in a while, so I don't mind practicing in North America at all.
It would just be you losing to Fury over and over.
Slacker.
So,
Yeah.
just like real tournaments. But anyway.
Why has it got here?
I don't know.
Why did you get so fucking quiet? Would you fucking idiots start talking again? Jesus.
Yeah, no. I think Moses has sold me. I'm going with Apex.
I'm nominating Apex as well. I'm in there.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want. Let's just do it.
I'm taking Tabson still. I'm sticking with that one.
All right.
Well, okay. It's majority rules, as we've established. So, congratulations, Apex. I'm sure you'll be putting this proudly on your shelf, along with all the other accolades and awards you've
What do
won
you
this
guys?
year.
What do you guys give away? What do you guys do for trophies here?
Fuck all.
Have you come up with something yet?
We basically just sort of try and maintain some semblance of a professional relationship,
Yeah.
which is tested every episode. So that's about it. Last 2 awards. This is always a popular one on this show. Worst fans.
Now, listen, I actually was worried at one point in time. Like, Astralis fans were coming strong for this earlier this year, Richard. They were looking good. But you know what? Never doubt the heart of a champion. Brazilian fans have the most passion of any set of morons on the internet I've ever actually encountered. Listen, you guys are fucking world class. We're talking about the kind of level of dedication and brilliant intuition for the game that your soccer team has displayed for the last 100 years. Like, this is incredible. Because here's the thing. When that whole incident happened with the Leaf cheating incident, like, mate, they were right back to their absolute prime worst level, weren't they? Like, I don't think it's ever been worse than that, actually.
The MIBR fans specifically
was terrible.
Absolute hands down.
To be fair, with Furia being good this year, I should probably actually separate to just MIBR fans now. It shouldn't even be Brazilian fans anymore, should it?
No, but like what you probably don't remember at that time was, because I was more embroiled in it, because I decided, listen, I'm just going to write the definitive article saying why Dead, Fallen, Taco, and Fur are absolute cunts. Like, I'll just own that for the year and say, here's all the fucking terrible things that they've done, and this shouldn't be acceptable, and fans shouldn't stand behind this. So I got absolutely like fucked. I mean, like my Twitter account was unusable for a week. I was getting 10 to 20 vampires a minute And if you don't know what that is,
Footballer, I know exactly.
no, it's that naked footballer. So basically, usually my DMs.
That's how we measure it. Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the nature of the content being sent. It's the fact that I myself, I know this is a crazy out to come out at the end of 2020. I'm actually not homosexual, so I don't enjoy just constantly being sent pictures of a guy's dick out all the time. Like, why is that the shit I'm getting sent? Like,
well, mate, I had so many of those, and then obviously the death threats and everything else. But I'll just say, like, I mean, forget me. Like, you know, I'm like I said, I'm never going to go to Brazil. I would get absolutely massacred if I did. That's fine. Like, you know, like that's just you know that goes back to even the days of fucking laughing at Fox, the Portuguese 1.6 player, and then you know, so whatever. But what happened to Leaf was just beyond unacceptable. It was like it was so insane to basically craft a narrative that these people actually believe, which is that a 16-year-old decided, apropos of nothing, to cheat in one game against MIBR and then turn the cheats off for the rest of the tournament, which they then subsequently got knocked out of and didn't even go the distance in. It's like, it's the maddest thing I've ever seen. Yet they all believe it in Brazil still to this day. You can't you can't talk about that Chaos team or that Leaf like on any form of social media without 50 to 100 Brazilian fans saying Zita, he's a cheater. Like, it's like, mate,
if you
like,
were going to cheat,
it's
it
in
wouldn't
your
be against
mind.
that MIBR team anyway, would it?
Why? Yeah. Why would you take the risk when that team was on its last legs anyway? There's nothing in the narrative that holds up to even the most basic scrutiny, and that for me was outrageous. Because imagine a world where Chaos. Imagine a world. So we have to imagine a lot here, but we imagine a world where COVID didn't wreck us, and we were having a major in Brazil. And imagine a world where Chaos, by virtue of winning a couple of tournaments, snuck in, and they were going to be playing in the Brazilian major. Leaf can't go. His parents were already saying, like, I wouldn't let my kid go to this. Steele already said as an IGL, he would advise him not to go. You know, like, I think that's like one of the first times since the Hiko situation I've ever heard about a player basically saying, well, can't go to the most prestigious tournament in the world because I have a genuine fear for my safety. And that's just beyond a joke. That's not what we should be doing in esports at all. So it's a serious point. Like,
wait a minute. How did we? That's how many people have been nominated for some of those other categories. We didn't even specifically put dead in the category for sneakiest cunt by calling someone a cheater and then getting exposed for cheating. Like, that's pretty up there. Not only that, then you find out what team he cheated against. It was his own team. Like, mate,
that's the team he owned.
How did he miss that? I know there's a lot of competition this year, Dead, but I've got to put you in for that category, mate. You deserve your nomination this year.
That's fair. I'll ask the lads, anything you want to add to that? I know Jason might have to be very careful here. That's fine. No big deal. What about you, Henry? Don't you... Cloud9 fans, I believe, was the one you wanted to say, wasn't it? She called you a clown.
Is there a best fans category? Or
no, not this year. Not this year.
Why not?
Just staying positive on this show, Henry.
Yeah, we had best and worst event, which completely redundant questions, but we had worst fans and no best fans. So I feel like we've got room for a question. We've got room for an award.
Fan is sort of like a paradox, isn't it? They just ruin everything. So fuck them.
No, I'm
Thorns
good.
fans.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, pay me money and shut the fuck up. There you go. My favourite people.
Right.
Actually,
well, go on, Anders.
I was just going to say Duncan's Discord's banging, though.
It is. Straight fire.
That's the place to be, though.
Some good memes on there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you guys should be pleased to know that brings us to the last award. And this is one I'm sure some of you
HenryG.
I'm sure some of you guys will be wanting to have dibs on this. Best personality of the year can be in any way, shape, or form, even if they're tangentially related to CSGO.
Give us the speech you had prepared for the Esports Award, Henry. You didn't win.
I came second. Not bad.
You came third. You came third.
No, second. They came second. Look it up.
They told me I came second.
Well, they were lying because they've tweeted it, and there's a tweet live on the internet that says I'm second. So
that would have been the first time that Moses came second. Can you just let me this?
Yeah, they tweeted it. I'll find the tweet if you like. We can retweet it right now. Let's get it out there.
Tweet like all the
let's retweet it right now.
Let's retweet it right now.
Why did
Let's get it out there.
Listen,
Why do they tweet first, second, and third place?
they do actually do that as well.
Awards.
Right,
Here
so
we
I'll
go.
propose while he's looking at the facts there. Straight out the gate, Warwick Davis. I think he's done
Yeah.
big contribution to my community this year. No, I think I could be tempted by Sponge.
He's been putting in just a grotesque amount of work.
A caster for me, really. If I look at the body of work over the year, more of a caster.
I think he carries the podcast for HLTV though.
Oh, I guess you do have to count that as well. Oh, he absolutely does, of course. Because for a start off, he has normal sized gums and he's not from whatever, I know, fucking Serbia or something. So there we go. He's already won. He's already ahead of the other two.
He does. That's one of the best things I've.
Listen, it was the main thing that
size
is. Sometimes what I say is just mean, but not
gums.
actually that funny, you know.
He does have normal sized gums.
It's true.
It's good to know.
Exactly.
But no, I think Sponge could be a good shout. Jason Lake had a renaissance as well this year.
Yeah, it's true.
Were you second, Henry?
Yes, I retweeted it. Go check my Twitter out. It's live now.
Of course you retweeted it.
Yeah.
You narcissistic piece of shit.
I just bring in the facts to the table. The facts. You said you came second, which is indeed false.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I said that as a joke. I didn't know they actually did fucking rankings. Like, why do you do fucking rankings?
To acknowledge the best and the second best.
Why don't they just give the award and be like, isn't the honor in the nomination? That was the whole thing for years when I was growing up.
I don't know. What's the question again? What's the award?
Best personality.
Yeah. If it's not me, it's Chad. That's a fair shout. That works.
I'd say it's this Kickstart TV. This guy who got first place is the color caster of the year.
He got first place, yeah. He's a Rainbow Six caster.
Oh, okay.
Great personality. Love him for his personality.
Why are you guys so bitter about not getting caster of the year? Like, why is this something?
When the mask comes off, it comes out.
What about Mihal, the admin guy?
Thing is, I understand. Like, I obviously acknowledge
you should get a separate award. I think.
Yeah, like, you know, a nice guy of the year award or something. But personality, I mean, like, what do we really know about him? You know?
That's what. Yeah.
I think
you only know if you work behind the scenes. He is a good personality, but not a public one at all.
Yeah. Well, we can. I've got to nominate Dust for something.
Which one?
Dust Moret, not actual physical dust.
A lot of ridiculous things said on this podcast, but the notion Dust would ever win any context of a best personality award. Like, mate, he wouldn't win that in a room of fucking eyes that were malfunctioning the Turing test.
Hold on a second. He did do that whole fish thing, didn't he? Bit the head off fish. That was pretty good.
That was Gollum, Duncan. Where were you?
When he was living in the attic, biting the heads off the fish.
Yeah, he rolled back the ears.
Duncan's not been watching the disc golf content.
I haven't seen this. No, I don't know anything about this.
There you go.
Maybe it's popping in the disc golf scene.
Yeah. Oh, he is. Yeah,
he is.
Right up there with Paul Macbeth. He is. So,
and cult leader Conrad.
Personality.
Just sponges it. Is that what it's I can tell from everyone's dead eyes the concept.
For the record as well, winner of the 2018 personality of the year was me. So I have won it already. So I don't think I can win it again. So that's fine. Okay. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Jason Lake. Anyone?
Pretty good one.
Nah.
Yeah.
What'd you get for that win?
Jason's
other battle. These people got nothing.
Oh man.
You got the Cloud9 job.
Maybe we should start doing trophies, mate.
True.
Maybe we will.
Yeah.
You guys gotta have some kind of trophy. I thought you'd have like some weird fucked up
All right
thing.
then, Sam, go get the graphics guys to make up fucking graphics.
No, I'll get a real trophy, mate.
Can you do second place as well? So we
make
know
no money off this as it is.
You're not getting a trophy for second place, mate. You can get a tweet.
Come on.
Box
Let everyone win.
Box of chocolates, Henry. That's your lot. So, all
Small
right.
box of celebrations.
It's Sponge. Sure shit. It's over. We're all run out. We can't even do 2 hours with each other these days. It's just,
we can.
We've all grown apart. We've all grown apart, and we all hate each other. It's fine. I'll just wrap it up, guys. I'll wrap it up and just thank you for your time.
we can keep going. We just
I
got
feel like
Counterstrike. This is like my comfort
No,
zone.
that's literally all the awards. Actually, this is
let's make one more new one.
Why isn't there a community award
for this year? Come on.
Every year we should make a new award.
You know what Richard's going to say? I can see in his head already.
Come on.
Go on, what is it?
Well, you've probably just the Bald Fraud Awards, I'd imagine, something like that. Just the boldest of fraud, something.
Why is it always,
along those lines.
got to be like this? We always got to win that one. Let's not do that.
Well, I mean, listen, it can be an award moving forward, like Bald Fraud, but like you guys haven't been in it long enough to win it for a year. Like, I mean, like if the whole point of the Bald Fraud is to like call out a coach or a GM or something that's like managed the team into the ground, it wouldn't be either of you guys. I mean, like Dead, for example, had that fucking MIBR team, like an absolute rock bottom, losing to like the 75th team in the world and stuff in tournaments. He'd be way ahead of you. He's a much bigger Boulder Frauder. So
There should be like a...
You know, on a positive note, like what was the best Counterstrike Professional Players Association of the year? You know, just end on a positive.
Yeah. What about best meme account, and we'll give it to Valve?
What about best esports friend you wish you hadn't lost this year? Bit of a dark one, but whatever.
Best esports friend. Lost them all, of course.
Lost them all.
Lost them all. No one talks to me anymore. Just alone in a house. It's okay.
Lock the door.
Got the books, mate. Don't worry. Got the books.
Yeah, got the books. Do like to have a read. But
there should be an award for people trying to keep Counter-Strike
Book of the year, esports
like,
book of the year.
You know, someone who puts in like a lot of work for you know, when Valve aren't.
That Zeus.
Yeah, you got that.
Good. Yeah,
you got that on your shelf.
Well, no, I got sent the translated PDF, and I made it like 40 pages in, and it was just too much. I've talked about this before, but Henry and mate, it would blow your mind. He's like going, I was at this 5-star hotel. They had all the best things, really big prawns, and
massive
Johnny
prawns.
Walker Black, all for free.
That's when I know I'm a good establishment. Yeah. Massive prawns,
big prawns. So no, I don't know. Do we need a new award, guys? The big prawn award. I don't think.
Best calculator award.
Oh, let me introduce you to this guy.
What is that?
That's in your bedroom. That's like a hotel calculator. You need to.
You've got a computer right in front of you. Why do you need that?
Mate, the numbers I'm cranking out every single day, they don't fit on the screen. We need extra floor space here.
Right. So he's played 37 games for you. Well, we've never saw the like on a Cloud9 squad before. So just carry the million and
by 1,000.
Got 4,000 per map.
I'll just give Jack a call. Listen, Jack, you fucking mug. It's my team now, yeah? Yeah, I know he's only played 36 times. Yeah, I know it was in the online era. Yeah, I know. 20 million, I know. Sign him. We're signing him. I'm in charge, Jack.
Calculator doesn't lie, mate. Calculator doesn't lie.
So, but no, I'll have a think, mate. I'll have a think about an award, and we'll introduce it for next year when we're definitely going to do this, because we'll all
maybe have
friends.
The awards that don't count or can't be even put together, like the best.
Should we give one
event,
honorary one to Mishu for this year, and that'll be our
go on then. Nice guy award. Nice guy award. There you go. You can have a nice guy award. Although that does mean me leave out the Dudenhofer guy. Who wins?
He has a less cool name.
Oh yeah,
most ridiculous 80s name of the year award.
Exactly.
Add him in. I do. We always do forget about him.
Like, his name is like a fake name you have on a fake ID in an 80s movie. Steve Dudenhofer. It's like, this is ridiculous, mate. What are you talking about?
So, I'm wrapping it up, guys. Any final thoughts for 2020? In fact, that's what we'll do. One final thought to wrap up the year. I'll start with you, Henry. Just put the calculator
Hold on
down
a second.
For a moment.
Look at the replies to the thing I retweeted. It's apps. What have you started here, Rich? This is unbelievable. Go mean? Look at the replies to that retweet. Go look what the people are saying in it. What has this show started?
Is most of it ball fraud?
Yeah, not most of it. Literally all of it. Richard now
he's
starting his own.
I didn't start it. I'm not responsible for Pep Guardiola.
I've not even heard of this before I came in today. So someone started it.
Well, you don't follow football, do you, mate? You know, just because you're a Chelsea fan.
What was the question? I was phased by the
No.
The
you have to just sum up 2020. Some final thoughts.
Some final thoughts. Jesus Christ, where to begin?
Put you on the spot.
Certainly a trying and desperate year. We've done what we can. I don't think it was necessarily the best year for Counter-Strike. I think we got through it. And I don't think we're out of it just yet. It feels like this online era is going to be a massive problem for us going forward. I hope we get some lands in the future. Fair play to everyone keeping it together somewhat. The wheels have fallen off, but we're still moving forward. So let's keep that trajectory going, shall we?
Just like D-Man's Brentford team.
We're still alive. We're not dead yet, is my point. It's rough. It's rough out there.
Lost his star striker. It's rough. Jason, your final thoughts for 2020?
Man, my only thoughts. I miss you guys. That's it. That's all I got. I miss seeing you guys.
Like one of his pep talks before Team Liquid matches.
Yeah, I know. I'm always there. I'm giving him the pep talks. So.
All right. Well, I don't miss you guys that much, I guess.
It's the thing is,
I tried to be nice. I tried to be nice, and you just reminded me right out of the gates.
But no matter what anyone says about this year for you, Moses, unironically, you actually did massively dodge your bullet by just not doing Flashpoint 2, mate. You would have been fucking mouthing if you'd have seen what me and Anders had to go through at the end as well. So you would have been there with us, trapped.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I get asked a lot if I miss casting, and I know. Between watching you guys get trapped in a fucking hotel for an extra week out of nowhere, 2 weeks out of nowhere, between watching Chad and Alex have to spend, and even Trace have to spend like 3 or 4 months straight in a hotel room in Cologne, I don't even miss it at all. Not even a little bit. Don't miss the job. Miss you guys. Miss the people. But fuck's sake, like the talent in this industry get treated like dog shit. And I mean, it's not always the fault of the people who hire them, but they're just in the worst position possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this with Anders recently. I'm going to be dropping some bombs, I think, soon.
Here we go.
Well, why not start 2021? Because it is ridiculous, mate. It is ridiculous stuff.
Who's in the crosshairs of the metaphorical sniper rifle?
Probably everyone, I'm guessing.
All
By the way,
these TOs.
Metaphorical sniper rifle has got to be my favorite line I've ever heard you say. Jesus
yeah, that needs an
Christ.
award. That does need an award.
Yeah, best fucking line. Metaphorical sniper rifle.
All the TOs, because it's like you say, man. Like you've just got people like fucking, like you said, Duncan was under fucking house arrest at the end of fucking Flashpoint.
Basically.
Like, and Anders, like obviously I said. Like, I mentioned this a little bit. Like, he got fucking stranded and basically, like, had to blow his fucking family out for a thing that I'd planned for ages. And you can say, oh, well, that's, like, government incompetence and all that. Don't ever call your event a bubble if people are coming and going to and from and are allowed to go home. It's not a bubble, is it? A bubble is fucking sealed hermetically, you daft cunts. That's, like, literally, that's what makes it a bubble. It's not, if it's, I don't even know what the alternative is. If you pass through it and there's nothing preventing you doing it.
Bubble, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's
just a door.
What happens when a bubble pops?
Actually.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. Exactly. The opposite of a bubble is nothing, you fucking demented pricks. So the idea that like people would just go into it. That's, like I said, me and Duncan are going to get into that. We haven't even done the Flashpoint special yet. So that's coming, But yeah, there's some shit's got to get said because that was outrageous. That was outrageous.
And by the way, it's not just like it's only Flashpoint. Like, for example, we've already listed some of them. TOs just going back in time 5 years and making the entire desk be the fucking casters as well. So they only pay 3 people instead of 6 or whatever. Like, that's ridiculous, mate. So that is amateur hour shit.
Yeah. So it's all coming. It's all commin'. And you can keep blaming COVID as much as you want, guys, but
no, it's just exacerbated what were already symptoms in the scene.
This was just mate, the worst part about it is, like, for some of these TOs, COVID's actually a wet dream. They're that fucking cynical. They're actually relishing the opportunity to go, bloody hell, we're just having to do all these online events. Bloody hell, we can only hire 3 people. Bloody, what a nightmare. Our margins are going up finally. What a nightmare this COVID is here. And you can see it. You can see it in the way they handle their business, mate. So I'll be all over that shit in 2021. I guess that could be my final thoughts as well. But I miss you too, Jason, and I miss you too, Henry. I miss actually being able to be in a room and get sick of each other in person. Yes. Yeah, good old game of Lifty.
Smash me up against the wall in anger.
Mate, I couldn't even do Lifty Henry anymore, mate. I'm just old and weak now.
It's that broken toe. You never know how much the toe provides until you just can't lift Henry up along the wall.
Yeah, but that's how fucking old I am now. I'm walking around my house and I'm just having falls. I just broke my fucking toe. I just broke my toe out of nowhere. Like, I'm not safe in my own house, like, by myself. I need one of them alarms around my fucking neck. Like, oh, wait, this goes straight to Duncan. It's just him cackling with laughter. Brilliant. Yeah.
No, you do people also like an old woman in case it's just like, has anyone seen Richard in 3 days? No, he's just trapped in a pantry somewhere.
Help me! Yeah, Duncan will surely call the proper authorities. Now he's just telling everyone on Discord. But
Tell
anyway,
me the login of the PayPal is. Tell me the login, and I call the cops.
Wait, you sound like Peter. Anyway, Anders, let's. That was a wicked throwback. I can't believe no one enjoyed that. Anders, your final thoughts for 2020.
I mean, I miss everyone too. Especially Jason. I'd made part of our casting duo about making Jason do as much work as I could. So now that he's gone, I have to do more of that work myself, or just not do any work at all. So I've been flipping a coin for that. That really sucks. Took a long time to train him as well to do all these things, and now it's just wasted time. So that's unfortunate.
Should have paid me more.
Could have paid you anything, but
It really was. Moses used your own line on you there, Anders.
that's true, isn't it? But,
the irony of that, eh?
I will say this. I'll say this though. Just again a callback. You guys, can either choose, for the rest of your life to keep living in normal reality where
Where's this going? Come on.
It's boring and you read the regular news and you just
come on.
You're just getting the latest updates on what the stock market is doing, or you can join me in the UFO and the whole world's about to be taken over. It's way more fun. So I just encourage you guys, stop living in normal reality. It's not fun anymore.
Buy XRP.
Yeah.
Are they getting sued or something?
It's lost like 50% today. It's a scam.
Yeah,
and Landers is fully invested in it.
Well, it's true, Ed, but the best thing is, Henry, it is also bringing down your coin, unfortunately.
It is. You are tumbling me down with
joke is you dickheads and crypto. I'll fuck all of your
tribalism.
Okay. Here's the advice. Stop living in normal reality, but don't invest into whatever kind of shit Henry and I are investing into. Don't do that, but do the other thing that's worth it.
True.
Duncan?
I mean, I'm on the show every week, so I'll say whatever I want on the other week. So see it.
No. See it. He's phoned it in the bare minimum.
Fucking nailed it.
I'm glad because you never know what shit's gonna come tumbling out. So I mean, the less he talks, the safer it is. So that was his gift to me. That was the Christmas gift.
Exactly.
I give you the gift of not saying anything
Put it
at the end.
This is how bad this year actually got, Moses. I actually one time was going to make a straight fire joke, which I've never been able to make, sadly, because it probably would have just got the show cancelled. But that's actually where we're at as a world now. Now it's not a joke. That'd have been fine, yeah. But
don't ask him, Jason. Yeah, shut up.
I'll type it to you in a minute.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap up the show, guys.
That's all I want.
So. Thanks a lot for coming here and spending the 2 days out from Christmas with me to go over the year. I hope it wasn't too unpleasant, although Henry has got a face that smacked ass on him right now, so guess that's what happens. Yeah, guess that's what happens, isn't it? He can't handle the pressure, mate. Is that what you want as a GM, Cloud9 fans?
There's no wrinkles. It looks moisturized.
That's what the calculator's for. He works out exactly how much he needs to put to stop him becoming craggy and wrinkled like me.
Yep.
What is oil of all there?
Yeah, just all of it. Right. Anyway, guys.
Cheers,
guys.
Thanks, Richard.
It's always a pleasure catching up with you, and I wish you the best in 2021 for your respective jobs, and hopefully there will be less bald fraudulence being perpetrated in that year. From all of you. No. If the Fallen move does go ahead, Jason, which I know obviously you can't talk about it, you're going to be, why is dead? Hanging around, Gabriel? No, nothing. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
I can't talk about it.
Yeah, no, you can't talk about it. It's all right. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, that's it. Thanks to all of the guests. Go show them some love on social media. Maybe don't call them a bald fraud when they win. Only call them a bald fraud when they lose.
Yeah, hit me at my lowest. Wait for me to really feel like shit already, and then really drive it in.
I can testify. It really does hurt his feelings. So it really does. It really upsets him. So do feel free.
That's a good end for the. Sorry, I keep interrupting your exit. But that is a good beam for 2020. I will say, when I was a commentator, I was like, we get the social media relatively bad at times, and I was like, yeah, I know what the players are going through. But when you're actually on the team side, holy shit, is it so much worse? It is so much worse.
All the people placing bets that they thought they were going to win, money lost.
Unreal.
It's really bad, really
I
bad.
don't know
I
if you
like
can back
it.
that up
Keep,
better.
keep-
Yeah.
I like it. Keep it coming. To be
Okay.
honest with you, take your best shots. Like I don't give a fuck. Keep it coming.
But
Keep
the
coming
shit
at
he's
me.
into.
Invest in clown makeup. That's all.
Yeah, I
Send
I
in.
know I talk a big game. I deserve it. It's all good. You can keep it coming.
All right.
Let's
So
keep
look,
the fun
I
going.
forgot to shout out the sponsors at the start of the show, guys. So because I'm a terrible host. So shout out to obviously .com account there if you want to place bets on esports events in a safe, ethical environment. They've sponsored me for like 3 years, incredibly. I don't know why or how that's worked, but they're great. And obviously NordVPN as well. Go to nordvpn.com/RLS and get yourself 70% off at the moment for their sort of holiday special affair. Exclamation point NordVPN in the chat for more of that. And of course, shout out to our patrons that brought the show back from the dead. $100 patrons, Jerky's Minion, Blunt Smoking Anus Destroyer, Sean Gers.
Sorry, what? So you can't say simp on Twitch, but you can say that.
I mean, I've told him he's going to have to change his name in January. I have told him that.
Okay.
Right. I mean, this is the worst. The worst part
Right.
about this is when you realize it's not actually a separate person. It's just Sean Gers' title that he's given himself.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Blunt Smoking Anus Destroyer, Sean Gers, J Dubs, Alice the Alchemist, Marcus Kiumpar, Flacksmith, Detlef Insomniac, and our $50 patrons, Reykjavik on Steam, Sard Sawar, Benakagi, Watch Doge, Butt Pounder 420.
Come on, mate.
Tobias
This is your audience. These are your people.
It's mad,
What's
isn't it?
going on here?
Think clearly as well. I know.
Listen,
What is this?
They give us money.
You lucky there was no
Tobias
questions.
Berlusconi, Chingu, yeah, we left the questions out for you guys. Chingu, Miss Alcoholic, Cathal, Echo, Rez, Elon, Gaming Paul DK, Quasar Fox, Smart as Superman, Lonnie, Guran, X-Defel, and First Sock. That's it from By the Numbers for 2020. We'll see you next year, no doubt. We'll be talking the same old shit.
We'll die like tomorrow.
Yeah, good point. Very good point.
Merry fucking Christmas. See you next time.